Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, people. You're all very, very welcome to your regular Saturday night call-in show, the big call-in show, Kall-In-Khan. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you've all found some form of football to watch over the weekend. Me and BILAL did. We were just talking off screen about some of the games, and we're going to get into it, possibly, probably. But we don't decide what we get into because, as we know, Bilal, it's all about the people, them, whatever they want to talk about, right?
Yeah, man, this is the People Show, Kall-In-Khan. So, yeah, guys, we're going to be excited to hear what you guys have to say, especially on this sort of, momentous occasion, which was, of course, the passing of the Queen and all that's come with it in terms of the football being kind of the only sport really to suffer. I've seen cricket going ahead, I've seen rugby going ahead, but us football guys, Premier League merchants, man, we've had to suffer. But listen, if you've been catching the other games in terms of the Serie A and the Bundesliga today, La Liga as well, Barcelona playing right now, we've had something at least. And the Champions League and Europa League hopefully will keep us going. And yeah, we won't miss out on too much. So hopefully everything gets back to normal soon. And yeah, we'll hopefully enjoy football very, very soon.
Exactly. I mean, look, first and foremost, of course, we need to pay our respects. Well, each to their own, but I think me and you, we pay our respects to the Queen and all those that are close to her. Passing away of any human being is a sad occasion. Regardless of the political beliefs of certain people, the religious beliefs, or whatever, a death of a person is a death of a person. So, from that aspect, our regards to the Queen and the ones close around her. With regards to the cancellation of the football, it didn't need to be done. There's no protocols to say from the government that all football should be cancelled. That's the disappointment part, that there is no protocol in place, yet they still cancelled football. The working, as you said, everything else seems to be good. Cricket was good, rugby was good, but football was decided to was decided that it was stopped. The working man's game, the game that so many people, you're talking hundreds of thousands of people, must have saved up for this weekend of games, took off time from work, maybe not be able to come out again, lost money on travel, loss of expenses. Not only that, the people that work in football, you've got to remember, football's not all about the Premier League and 22 man running out on the pitch. It's not about these boys. It's about the whole level of football from the bottom tier to the top tier. So many people involved that rely on football as their income for the weekend. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah,
so many
100%.
people freelancing, caterers, stewards, so many people. So yeah, from that aspect, it was a bit of a cold blow from that aspect. But I mean, I don't know how you felt about it personally. I've just given my feelings upon it.
Yeah, I thought for me, I thought the football should have went ahead this week, and I thought it would have been a way because, in my opinion, of course, the Queen passing away is sad and that, but at the end of the day, we should be maybe celebrating her life. She's 96 years old. She's gonna go one day, so she went now. I thought everyone would have been up for it today, would have given her like a good send off, and it would have been a good atmosphere, and we would have showcased maybe to the world how the Premier League, the UK is. So I thought maybe it was a bit of a even opportunity missed kind of in terms of the football. But I have read reports where the Premier League and all of these associations are a bit scared that maybe fans, because it's a working class game, they might do something out of turn, and they're kind of scared of the general populace in that sense. So I don't know, but for me, I think 99% of people would have shown respect and it would have been calm. You might get the odd few here and there, maybe doing something, but I think when someone passes away, I think for the most part, regardless of who they are, unless they're a total, villain, I think most people would have shown respect. But it is what it is now. We can't really do much about it. We missed some good fixtures this weekend as well. The games this week in terms of European fixtures as well wasn't the most tastiest. It was okay. I think next week. Yeah, you're
I'm
Grizz.
mute. No, you're right. Because you remember last week we were talking about so many stunning fixtures across Europe as well. Do
Mm-hmm.
you remember there was the Milan derby? There's so many different brilliant
Mm-hmm.
games last week. This week, I don't know what you watched. I watched the Bayern Stuttgart game to start off with.
Yeah, I had that on, but I was keeping my eye on Leipzig and Dortmund. I'm not a Dortmund fan, but I'm suffering with them a little bit watching the way they're playing. Honestly,
I'm gonna keep I've grilled you enough about your Dortmund shouts earlier in the season, so I'm gonna just let you watch Dortmund and say, yeah, you know what,
it's a calamity.
Grizz was right, man. I hyped them way too much. But just some of the comments before we get into the callers, guys. Don't forget, new callers, channel members get priority to come in. The studio's full. Like, I think we're only like 12 people in the studio and it's full already. So bear with us, people. We're going to get people on. There is going to be a limited time for each caller today because of the nature of how many people are looking to come in. So I'm going to make your points very brief and straightforward, guys, and talk your talking points because of the popularity of this show now. It's amazing. And especially people want to talk. Got so many opinions to pick up. Ben's in the building. Big up the boys. Thankfully, we didn't see James Milner being dominated by Nunes and Neves. My God,
got away with one, man.
Got away with one. Today was a killer without the Prem. People are so bored today, man. With that, we got Naby time to go. We got bring Barella to Chelsea. Okay,
good assist just now.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Exactly. People saying, Milo says football being cancelled is ridiculous. Even the kids' Sunday league stuff.
Yeah.
Ashes, Ajax are cooking right now, Grizz. You shook. Bro, I'm shook of people like Fulham and stuff, and you're talking about Ajax, man. Come on, man. It is what it is. Zeno says like and subscribe. For sure, like. Subscribe, you don't need to, because if you're in here, that means you're subscribed, because it's subscriber mode only. But please like the stream today. Lots of wickets today, Grizz. Milo says, you know what? I haven't been following the cricket, I haven't been following the cricket today at all. I should have, you know what? I could have. Umer says Liverpool needed this break. We're going to get into that. Hopefully, if we got some Liverpool people that want to speak about that. Yeah, people are trying to enter the studio. So we might as well start getting moving with the callers, because the studio's full. Let's see who we got in the building. We have got 1 second. All right, here we go. There's a new fella here. Adamson, if you're ready to come onto the stream, my friend, you're about to be brought onto the stream. Here we go. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing fine, mate. Thank you for having me with you.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
Call. So just apologize for my English. It's not that well.
Your English so far is fantastic. Fantastic, my friend. Don't worry about my English isn't great as well. Trust me. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Where are you from, my friend? Tell us where you're from. Where you calling from?
Yeah, I'm originally from Eritrea, but I live currently in Sweden, so it's kind of a bit of a mix.
Yeah. Amazing, lovely.
Isaac, yeah, that's your guy.
Yeah. That's my guy. That's my guy. I was actually shocked when Arsenal didn't pick him up. It's just like, what are they doing? He's a new talent. He's young and so on. But I don't want to take too long on that matter. I'm just gonna go straight ahead. I'm not with or against the stoppage of the Premier League matches. I was really looking forward to it because it's like takes my mind off work and stuff. But I think it was really needed for Liverpool, because whatever Klopp was saying about reinventing, I don't know what, they really need this. They really need to get their mind focused on developing some new strategy, because I feel like it's all over the pitch. Like it's different stuff. Like outside of Henderson not being the Henderson that we used to have, there's no coverage for Trent, and Trent feel like kind of irritated or something. It's not clicking between him and Harvey and Mo. It's like it feels like like it's like three wingers trying to play in the same area, where Trent want to do the overlap, but then he gets blocked somehow because Mo is wide, and then like Harvey also comes in that area and try to drive in, so it becomes kind of confusing. And then all of the three of them, they're crossing into the box where there's nobody. There's no like this. It's only maybe Firmino, and Firmino he drops down, and if you have Nunes is going more towards where Mo is creating area for himself, so he's blocking him in that area, so or drifting to the left sometimes. On the other side, you see, although I really love Luis, but it feels like the connection between him and Robertson isn't really going that well. Robertson want to do the, like the thing he used to do with Mane, where like they would have that tiki taka, and then one of them would go with the overlap, go all the way to the corner, and then do the cross or try to find a way to squeeze in. But it's not working between them. So you find always Luis is just running into the box, like from the 18 yards. And it's kind of mind-boggling. I don't know what's the plan. Like it's not making any sense. And then you find like poor Flacco is like those old movies where there's like this one warrior with a sword, and then there's like a big army coming towards him. I don't know if it was from Game of Thrones or
Game of Thrones.
Yeah. It feels like that. It's just like one guy, and then that's it. Nobody's pressing. Like the counter press. As soon as the opponent gets the ball, there's no press. Usually, although Mane have left the, and I don't want to bring Mane into the topic, but Mane and Salah used to press really hard, and I feel we're missing that, because now as soon as the goalkeeper get the ball, he pass it to one of the guys on the sides, and then they have enough time to pick their man behind the lines. And then I don't know, Trent doing his thing, chilling out on the sideways. And if you don't have Matip, then Van Dijk is exposed because he's not running or anything. I don't want to be too harsh on anybody, but it feels like they really need to get their head straight. It's either they back Trent and Andy so they could go forward, or they try to have two pivot players who could cover for all of this, and then make Harvey or Carvalho or somebody who's creative at the number 10, so they you get the ball and then you pass it to them, and they figure out themselves. You don't need to include Trent or Robertson. Otherwise, you're exposing yourself. If you don't pressure them, they're just gonna make the ball over everybody else. You can't do that. It's just I'm really
what's the word? Frustrated? Which one is it? Are you really
frustration? Man.
Are you tired? Are you tired like the Liverpool team? Are you fatigued like the Liverpool team? Are you mentally exhausted already?
It's it's just mental. It's just what is it called? The word mental gymnastics.
They've drained us. They've drained us already.
Yeah,
they've drained us. And
you come from work, and you're trying to chill and have some good time. Get your popcorn, you get your drink and stuff, and then bam, you see that game, and you just even more, fuming and stuff. And you go back to work on Monday, and you're really not having a good time.
You know what?
Anyways, that was just my thing, man.
No, it's good. It's good. Look at this is all about getting your opinions, how you feel, what you think, not about what I think or what Bilal thinks. This is the show for you, and this is perfect, man. What you said, we felt. Bilal, you can tell Adamson is speaking like from the heart, isn't he? He's just what's the word you use, Bilal?
Yeah, listen, just speaking like a real fan there, and that's why today was a weird day, because when I looked at the pictures being cancelled and I'm watching like Bayern, and I'm like, you know what? I'm enjoying this. You don't have any stress watching the games. Sometimes it's nice, man. You have a little bit of a break. So I understand exactly what you're feeling, and especially when Liverpool were putting in that performance the other day, man. Terrible. Trent. I
was worried of Wolf. I just was worried that we would meet Wolf immediately after that. Shambolic. I don't know what would I.
Well, we've got it. So look, it's worked out well for us, as you say. We may have a chance to regroup. But Adamson, thank you very much for making your points.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Hopefully, Liverpool can cheer you up in the rest of the season. And if they do, or even if they do or they don't, call in and we can have a speak about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're gonna be fans anyway, so it's
exactly.
It is what it is.
Look after yourself, my friend. Take care.
Yeah, man.
My God, the studio, guys, there's people trying to get in all the time in the studio, so we're going to have to keep this moving very, very quickly. All right, channel member Avinash is in the chat. Let's bring Avinash to the stream. Avinash is another Liverpool fan, BILAL, so bear it, bro. How you doing, Avinash? You okay? You're on mute. You're mute.
Yeah, I think there's not much to bear. I think most rival fans are enjoying the few.
Yeah, Bilal's loving it and smiling. Exactly.
Listen, Liverpool. Listen, I got respect, man. So come on.
Maybe not just BILAL. I mean, I was talking about it, generically, but it's not in a good place to be right now.
I mean, I would ask, how are you? And we get the pleasantries out the way. So I will ask you, how are you? Like, how's life? Apart from Liverpool life. So I guess I can ask you, how's life apart from Liverpool life, at least?
Life is good, Grizz. It's going on. I mean, I played soccer in the park yesterday. It was good. I scored 4 goals.
There you go. Amazing. From
a footballing perspective. The rest is good. I'm planning a holiday next week, so hopefully get away with
amazing. Take the Liverpool team with you, like wherever you go. Like they've got a couple of weeks off now as well.
They need to go sleep for a few weeks and recharge their batteries, man.
Yeah. And the international break coming up, I think, like the previous caller mentioned, this is something 3 weeks ago I said I can't wait for the international break. It can't come soon enough. And I've basically been counting down the games because I just looked at the schedule and I'm like, we have Napoli, Wolves, Ajax, Chelsea. This squad can't play 4 games in 10 days. This squad can't play a game a week right now, the way things are. We absolutely need our players back. For me, the international break and the World Cup break are critical if we want to salvage anything from the season. Because at this point in time, I mean, I want to get to the midfield. I think that's where we are most hit. And watching all this, it's just deja vu for me, because this is basically, you go 2 seasons back, the COVID season. People were saying that's a defensive crisis. Yes, that was a defensive crisis. We didn't have any of our first choice centre backs. But to me, that was more of a midfield crisis than it was a defensive crisis. Because if you remember, what were we doing? We were basically taking out Fabinho and Henderson, trying to play them at centre back. I don't even remember who was playing in midfield. And a lot of the same issues were there then. We were talking about the same things. Why are we playing such a high line? There is no counter press. We're not winning the ball back. The defense is exposed. The attack is suffering because they're not getting Mane, Salah, they rely on volume. They rely on getting the ball quickly, and they rely on getting the ball over and over again so that they can run at defenders and all that. So I'm seeing a lot of the same issues repeating. And I think you mentioned in the 90-minute show something that we're basically Bagel FC. That's a very accurate description. We don't have a midfield. What do we have? I mean, James Milner can't play outside of a 5x5 space right now. He just can't run. And Harvey Elliott, as good as he's been, as much as I said last time, he's a shining light, but he's not a midfielder, Grizz. He's this entire formative years he's been playing as a forward, and he's very good on the ball, but he just doesn't have that sort of awareness and the tactical awareness to be in certain places. And I'm not saying he can't learn. I'm pretty sure he can, but it's his natural tendencies don't, fit that sort of profile. And remember what happened 2 seasons ago? We put Thiago in midfield, we put Fabinho back there, and we went on that 10-game unbeaten run or whatever it was. And ultimately, that started looking like what we expect Liverpool to look like. So the balance is off, and we need to get Thiago back pronto. And, when he came on, forget about what he does on the ball. For me, it was just the tackles, winning the ball back. If you look at the job description of a midfielder, right, what are you supposed to do? You get tight, you recover the ball, you turn defense into attack, you press. We don't have midfielders who can do that. You look at anywhere in football, across all levels, you look at see footballers playing in the park, you see midfielders doing that. And we, Liverpool Football Club, don't have a midfielder who can do that. I don't know what we're playing at. And Klopp is sitting there saying, there's nobody, we don't have the right player. What do you need right now? It's just the basics of what a midfielder is supposed to do that we can't do. So, it's just getting players back. I don't know what else is going to solve the situation. Of course, there are other issues like, the fatigue, the senior players that we expect a lot from are not showing up, that's much harder to solve. I don't know. I mean, we can't really get into their heads. Is it really fatigue? Is it really that they're not committed? I don't want to say that they can't be bothered, because I'm not ready to believe that's the case. So there is some sort of malaise. Again, missing out on Champions League and Premier League last season. It's just been a couple of months, short turnaround, all that. We don't know. And they need help. So, yeah, I guess.
Avinash, again, you spoke in your mind and you spoke with your heart, and we feel it. Well, I definitely feel it. Bilal's kind of feeling it. But Bilal, looking from the outside, and like you've seen Liverpool in the last few years, right? And you've often spoke about how you've admired them from afar, kind of thing, right? Do you think there's deep issues, or do you think it's literally a case of just let your squad get back to full fitness? Like, some have just come back this week. Some are scheduled now to come back after break. Konate will be back. Henderson will be back. Naby will be back. Thiago's just got back. Jota's just got back. I think only Ox will be left after the international break, who's long-term or slightly long-term. Do you think it's a case of just holding tight and just gritting your teeth through it? Or do you think even if they come back, you see deeper rooted issues?
Well, it's a tough one. Well, you got no choice. We've got to wait and see
what happens
when they come back. And I think Konate coming back is going to be really big. Matip as well needs to stay fit and make sure that this Gomez does not get on the pitch again, because the performance he's been putting in have not been good enough. Fabinho as well. Right now, it's not looking good for him. And I've always looked at Fabinho in that number 6 position, especially in the Klopp system, as one of the most important positions on the pitch. If that position's not stable, everything is going to just like fall apart. Van Dijk as well hasn't been looking good. Robertson's not been looking good. Trent has not been looking good. And I think that's what's been concerning me. It's that it's not one or two players that are not looking good. I can name maybe everyone apart from Luis Diaz and Harvey Elliott, who haven't been looking like, and Alisson. Let me big up Alisson as well before I forget him. These 3 guys, if it's not for these 3 guys, the whole team for me, I'd be looking, what's going on? I'll be asking questions. But I think now we're going to have to wait and see what Jota, Nunes, Thiago, Henderson. Thiago and Henderson's going to be key now, because if they come back into the team, maybe Fabinho as well is going to pick up form and he's going to have a stable midfield to actually work with. So I think Thiago and Henderson coming in, Konate, Jota, Nunes he's still adjusting. So I don't want to put that kind of pressure on him. We're going to have to wait and see what he does. I know he's a big signing. He costs a lot of money. But right now, we're going to have to wait. And I think, as you guys have mentioned, this break that's coming to play now. And I think Keith mentioned, was it yesterday, saying that he thinks a bit of a conspiracy theory that maybe a lot of these managers actually kind of want this break to come in. Despite, yes, the Queen's died and all of that, but they actually want this little break, an extra preseason, get players fit again, and then start progressing from there. So let's just wait and see what happens. But I think Konate, and I even said maybe Konate could even potentially do a job at right back. He did it before when he was at Leipzig. If you really need someone to,
I'd probably prefer Gomez. I'd prefer Gomez at right back. I'm not sure what Avinash thinks. Yeah. Do you think Trent needs we may, in fact, this could be the blessing in disguise we need, because ideally we don't want Trent out of the team because he's so creatively good for us. But right now, realistically, he needs a break from the team. You can tell. Even his biggest fan would probably say it. In fact, his biggest fan maybe wouldn't say it, but we know he needs a break. This 3-4 week break, apart from the Champions League game, could be the break that he needs. When he comes back, he doesn't surely stay as out of the team, or would you still keep him out of the team and play Gomez and Matip in?
Grizz, with Van Dijk and Fabinho, I know they've not been performing up to their levels, but I think that's because they're just exposed and they're having to, man a lot of space, big parts of the pitch, and they just have no protection. But with Trent, there is something else going on. I don't want to think that, but yeah, he's one player who, I don't know, he just doesn't want to move. Again, we've all discussed some of his defending, and usually he just gets done sometimes. Maybe he's not positionally aware at times. This is not that. This is not about him not being able to defend. This is about him not wanting to. And there's a difference. And I don't know what it is. I have been thinking this for a while. And especially if you're going to play Harvey Elliott, continue playing him in that right-sided role, I think there is a case for putting Gomez there. Trent needs to know that he can be dropped. I feel like that's one position where he's basically he's a shoo-in. Like, he's one of the first names on the team sheet. And he's had no challenge for his position. Calvin Ramsey has come in, but realistically, he's not going to be ready until after the World Cup or whatever. So I think it could do with just knowing that, he can be dropped. I think he needs that kick up the arse right now.
No, I agree with you. I mean, just a quick plug for tomorrow's show, RedFellas. We're going to be doing a delve deep into the Elliott chat. Avinash has brought it up. A lot of chat about Harvey Elliott's role in the team. The previous caller, was it? Yeah, the previous caller was speaking about Salah's position and how Harvey Elliott is in the way, gets in the way, or whatever. We'll have a look at what we think tomorrow. We've got quite the panel tomorrow to have a discussion around that. So we will look into it. But Avinash, everything that you've said, my brother, I feel there's no fighting against it or arguing against it. It is what it is. We have to battle our way through this situation we find ourselves in right now. As I said, today's going to be a quick chat with everyone, man. We've got so many people waiting to come in. Like, the studio only allows 12 people in the background, and there's people waiting to come in more and more and more. I think everybody wants to just kill Liverpool and speak about Trent and Gomez and, everyone. But hopefully the next time we speak, whether it's next Saturday, we'll have an Ajax victory on the board, maybe something to look forward to. Surely good times around the corner, Avinash, or have you no hope?
No. I definitely have hope. Like I said, I think the international break is crucial. I'm really looking forward to what we can do post that. If the next weekend's games gets cancelled as well, that I think,
which is very likely, by the way.
Yeah,
very likely.
Right. Tuesday to Sunday is a decent break, but I still think that we need our players back. So that I'd welcome that as well, as much as I hate to say it. But that's where we are right now. So yeah, let's hope things get back on track. And I'd like to say, Bilal, congrats on being September champions as well, which it's looking like, not just August champions. So
shameless. 2 months now. Now shit's getting serious now, huh? That's 2 months.
Yep.
But Avinash, always a pleasure, my brother. Very nice speaking to you as always. You take care of yourself, man. Look after yourself.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Yeah, it's getting a bit dizzy for you guys, isn't it? That's like 2 months in a row. You can't be toppled. No, you can be toppled, but we'll see how it goes. Because if there's no games, how are you going to get toppled?
As Donald Trump said, man, stop the count. Stop the count.
Stop the count, innit? Stop the count. Yes, Ken. Big up, Godfather Grizz. Big love from Australia, right? That's the Australian flag, right? Help me out here.
It's either Australia and New Zealand. I always get confused between the two. They look identical.
Can let us know, man. Hopefully I haven't got this wrong, because, you know what I mean, I'm going to look like an idiot. But hopefully it's Australia, man. Hopefully it's Australia. Guys that have already been in the call, please, if you could remove yourselves from the studio, because others won't be able to get in. And also, guys, bear in mind, if you're not channel members and it's not your first time, you won't be priority on the call. It's Australia. I got it right. Next caller is, who's next caller? Ahmed. Give me 1 second. Let me try to find him. Here we go. Ahmed, are you there, my friend? Is he there?
I'm not too sure. What a ball.
Ahmed, are you there?
Yeah, no, he's in. I think it's just the camera's off.
No, he's not.
Let me add it. I think he's went off.
He's gone off.
Yeah.
Okay, next we're gonna bring in CFCOG then next. He's a channel member as well. Welcome to the stream, my brother. How are you?
Yeah, man. How Yaki's doing, man? You good, yeah?
We're okay. I'm okay. Bilal's good. It is what it is, bro. How you doing?
Always stay positive, Bilal, man. Always do that. What? Bro, obviously, man, we both just flopped the last games in Europe. You know what I'm saying? I don't know whose loss is bigger. You guys fought a bigger team, but you had a bigger loss. Oh, a smaller team, but small loss. But because of Tuchel factor.
I was going to say, with you guys, it's different because yours is not about the loss. Yours is about your manager loss.
Exactly.
Talk to me. How are you feeling?
Man, in hindsight, I'm sure Tuchel saw this coming. Like, I'm sure he knew that Todd B.
Did you see this coming? That's what we want to know, because you came with Chelsea last week, a couple of weeks back.
Attacking, like early September. That's like I can't remember last time it happened. Honestly, it's that mad. But in hindsight, if he was feeling like this, he should have sacked them after the 4-0 Arsenal loss, because there was not much difference between this. The way the fan base would have reacted would have been similar back then to now. But I digress, man. That's in hindsight, 2020 and all that. But I'm looking ahead already, man. I'm looking ahead. I see man like Potter Ball, Ahmed, yeah, big up. You're having Drex in the chat. He's saying a connectivity issue. But in the chat here, you see people saying, like, is it weird that John Terry was speaking to Potter beforehand and giving him props big time as well, like a month before Tuchel got sacked? There's also rumors of a WhatsApp group. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, Bowley's asking, what's a 4? I want to play a 4-4-3 formation. That's
I thought
it
man would play some old FIFA games.
That can't be real. That can't be real.
I believe it's real.
No, man. Bilal, don't add to this.
It's true. It's true. That's why Tuchel wasn't trying to listen to these guys. He's this German football man. He's not trying to listen to these Americans who just heard about football like 2 months ago. So
I can imagine Tuchel saying, like, I don't understand you. I don't speak a bit of English. Graham Potter, like, you know what I'm saying, probably English. He probably got that smooth communication. And Graham Potter's going to be talking to the media quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to do a Ragnick, which is what Tuchel started doing at the end. He started just saying the truth, the hard truth, like be a bit more political. You know, it is what it is. R.I.P. TT, even though he's getting paid millions. So I don't
think it's about the millions.
I know.
It's about he's actually got sacked from Chelsea, and that's going to hurt his ego a lot. That's going to hurt his ego and pride a lot, man. Because this man, Bilal, if we look at it from outside, right, apart from the jokes and the banter, this guy brought them the Champions League, right, and then for a difficult season, got them stayed in the top 4. And now he's been given like close to 300 million to spend, and then he gets sacked after what? Make it make sense, Bilal.
It's mad. Listen, I've been trying to think about why this situation's happened. Tuchel, you have to think about even the questions he was being asked during the, Abramovich sanctioning, all of that sort of stuff. The things he had to deal with during that time wasn't even normal, and he actually managed to. I thought he actually behaved really well during that time. Got Chelsea in a stable position, and this season gets the money. The ownership, you can tell already, they don't really know what they're doing. The director of football's not really there yet. They're still trying to figure out what they're doing, and he's still trying to figure out a new defense, sort of trying to figure out how to get this midfield going at Chelsea, get the attack going. But, all in all, I actually think his stock hasn't really been damaged from Chelsea. At the end of the day, he's left Chelsea. He's got the Champions League. Juventus job will probably come up in a few months, and he'll probably go to Juventus or something like that. Real Madrid at some point is going to come up with Ancelotti saying he's going to retire. So there's going to be jobs available. He's going to be a wanted man. He's going to be top of most shortlists. And I think he'll be fine. Also, another thing I want to ask you about Chelsea now and Bowley. What do you think about Potter? £22 million, they're saying. It's a world record fee for a manager. 5-year deal, £60 million. Is this too much money? Couldn't you have got a more established manager maybe with this sort of money? What do you think?
The way I see it was that he brought his whole gang with him, 5 man. You see that picture today? He brought 5 man with him. So I'm thinking, Todd B's like, he's going to help fix out the backroom stuff. I'm also paying for these guys a bit because, that's too short. I think he came with 3 people, and he was having beef with everyone else. Harry, I know he's going to smooth it over, especially with the English people, that Lampard's people, because Lampard still left a few people in that club. He's probably going to get along with them well. There's not going to reduce the friction. Honestly, and we're going to find out straight away whether the back room is working, whether Chelsea's rolling again, because we got you, man. If that game not gets postponed, you know what I'm saying? That's a big game. Then we got another small game, and we got European game before that, and then we got Man City in the EFL. Right, we got Chelsea. It's this simple, man. If you beat Man City, every man jump ship. Tuchel beat them 3 times in a short period of time. You know what I'm saying? If you beat Man City,
Tuchel had Pep's number.
That's what I'm saying. If he and Arsenal, obviously, because that 4-0, I can imagine like the billionaire boys, Kroenke and all that, texting, we won the Orlando Cup. Like, it's a fake cup, but 4-0. Like, we held 4 against them guys.
To be fair, Arteta's record, I think, was pretty good against Tuchel. Out of all Arsenal, Chelsea recent times, he had a really good record against him.
I'm hoping that ends. because, honestly, that to me is more important than Man City. I know I told you all Chelsea fans jump ship as soon as we beat Man City, especially if we beat them more than once. I get that they're the best, but I need Arsenal. I need London to be blue, like strictly blue for a while. Then we could try to take over the nation again. Even if it's a 5-year plan, boy, man, we need to win trophies in between. Like Tuchel at least got us to finals. You man effed us over in the finals, yeah. But sometimes I'm like, Tuchel needs to blame himself for not reading the script. Like the Hollywood script says, don't take off Mendy after he just won the African Nations via penalties a week ago, and then who missed? Kepa. And even last week, I'm like, you don't play Aubameyang. Like that's almost like that's like either a horror movie or a fairy tale. You put Aubameyang when you're 1-0 up. You know what I'm saying? 50th minute or something like that. You don't start him. He scores nothing. Now he's mentally effed with his fake moss, and now he's sacked. Like it was a horror movie in the right. He can't read the script sometimes. It's a bit concerning.
What if Potter doesn't win a trophy in the next 2 seasons? Like, are the Chelsea fans really going to give him patience? Because you guys are not used to that. Like, even as much as you guys say, listen, we want to give patience, Chelsea are a team that win cups regularly. So
I ain't got 2 seasons on that. I ain't got the patience for that because
wow, you've just brought in a young progressive coach, and look, this is why your fan base is cussed so much. People like you, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it to your face, you haven't got the patience.
I know.
Like you're bringing in a young. Don't you want to ever be a stable club that plans for the future and doesn't get cussed by other clubs by talking about just a revolving door, money, revolving door, money, revolving door?
You can say that, yeah, but managers.
No, but why haven't you got patience? You just said I ain't got patience for that. Why haven't you got patience?
Because I'm representing a fan base that if we don't get a trophy in 2 years, we're actually going to become a protesting club like Arsenal, Man United. Well, I don't want to become a protesting club.
But if you see progress, though, if you see a squad that makes sense, youngsters, stability, he brings in another 2-3 youngsters next season. You've got old age squad right now. You've got a lot of players that are old right now. Aubameyang, Koulibaly, Silva, Kante, these guys, Jorginho. If he's making progress, he's making you play good football because you haven't seen good football for ages.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw good football at your club?
Don Ancelotti was the last time I saw that, fam. Like it's been that long. But if
I'm saying Jezza, who's in the studio as well, we're gonna get Jezza as well because channel member.
Beers for 2-3
big up
years,
Jezza, we're gonna get him on as well. But this is the problem with you guys. No patience. You just want everything.
Nah, that's not fair. So you're happy to win.
We're patient. We're patient. No, we're patient. I'm probably actually the only one that's patient right now. People are calling for owners' head and FSGs and all sorts.
You guys won things, man. You won the FA Cup at least and the car, but we just got there. We held your beer, let you win the penalty shootouts. It was almost unfair, like. But I'm not even gonna get into that. That's last season. We're talking about this season. No, we're not winning anything.
I think you need to be. I think you need to be patient. I think you got the right man. I think you got the right man. I'm shook about this guy. This guy's a solid thing. The only thing I'm happy about is the fan base not having the patience. Wrong club. So he won't last. He won't last because otherwise, if you give him time, he will succeed. And that's one thing you lot not going to give him. So I'm kind of happy as well.
Yeah.
But
brother, I'm going to go out with this message. Yeah, we didn't give Lampard time and we didn't give Tuchel time. Two guys that we attached ourselves to. Yeah. I don't know how, unless Harry Potter literally does some magic.
But the only thing is, it's a new owner, so he might have a different mindset. That was Roman. He came out swinging every season, like he didn't give a shit. But this guy might be a bit more sensible. Might be.
It's gonna have to be. There's a lot of money on the line now. The contract they've given him.
Yes, sir.
Has to be patient. You have to be patient.
I'm gonna take care, guys. Mother over here, man. Peace out, man.
Look after yourself. Take care, my friend. Nice one. Thanks for calling in. Okay, next caller, I believe it's another Chelsea fan. It's another channel member. Let's bring in Ahmed to the stream. Hopefully his connection is okay now. Ahmed, can you hear us, my brother? How are you? Where are you calling from? Ahmed?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Grizz. Hi, Bilal. How are you doing today?
We're doing good. We're doing good, my brother. How are you?
I'm good. So basically, I was hearing your thoughts. And remember, I came last time also, Grizz, and I told you about firstly, let's go with the Liverpool part. I told you about the same thing in terms of your midfield factor. And after looking at both the Napoli games and the Everton games, I think I was not even stressing how much in trouble you guys were. At that time, I felt it was only the midfield. But the matter of fact is, somewhere around your forward line and I was listening to you on the Big Six as well. And the matter of fact that the change in position, what you talked about in terms of Salah being affected, means shifting him much more on the wider side and letting him be the creator mostly. That also has been a big issue in terms of, because you guys have done that, because another aspect of it was Mane used to drop in the midfield, which allowed Salah to just bomb forward towards the box itself. This has created a lot of issue now with Mane not being there and Diaz not being able to do that aspect. Basically, Salah has to do the creative side also, which isn't working for you, not on the offensive side, not on the defensive, not on the creation, all as well.
Interesting. I remember having this conversation with you, but are you saying that you didn't envisage, so are you saying you envisaged the injuries, or did you envisage us relying on Milner and Elliott and Carvalho? So the last two games that you've referenced is, you said, Everton and Napoli. So the two games, those games where we were awful in, Everton not as much as the Napoli game, we relied on Elliott, Carvalho, and Milner. Would you say they are the first names on the Liverpool team sheet in midfield?
The last time I spoke to you, they are not the first names in the midfield sheet. But the matter of fact is, the last time I spoke to you about the energy aspect, being that you need legs, you need proper legs to get up and down the pitch. 100%. You need players who can do the defensive side as well. That is where you are not having that. With losing of Mane also, this has made your midfield even much more vulnerable. We have this issue in terms of the midfield now. You don't have those legs. You don't have somebody who can drop in the midfield and allow Salah to just bomb forward.
I agree with you. But this is what I'm saying. But we haven't seen the midfield of Fabinho, Thiago, Naby. We haven't seen the midfield with Henderson, Naby, Thiago. What I mean to say is, for 90 to 95% of last season, we picked from a pool of 4 central midfielders in essence. And those 4 were Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, Naby. Milner played the very odd game, very odd. He started 3 games this season already. Started 3-4. The odd game for Curtis Jones, and obviously the odd game for Elliott before he got his injury. And Carvalho wasn't even at the club. So what I'm countering to your points is, I absolutely agree with your points. But what I'm saying is, it's very unfair of you to call out the energy or the level of these players. If we were in the situation where we are now, and the performance that you've seen and the whole world's seen, if it was while selecting from those 4 players, then I'd say there is serious issues, like deep-rooted issues. But the fact of the matter is, it's not from that pool of players, and therefore to shoot down the rest of them is fair, I guess, because it is what you see. It's in front of you. I think it's slightly unfair to say the whole Liverpool situation is perilously in danger. I'd say yes, right now, with the squad we've got right now, there's no energy, there's no organization, there's no running power. But if that was happening with the 4 players that I've mentioned, then I would say, oh shit, Ahmed, you're right. This is deeper than what we're seeing right now. What we're seeing right now is a team horribly out of form, the players not being able to get up and down and all of that. That's my counter.
Yeah, you could say that. We could be speaking about this in a completely different aspect in terms of, let's say, by the end of next month. And we could be having a completely different scenario. Liverpool could be flying off, or it could be the complete opposite. So time will tell in terms of that. But
with the Mane point, just very quickly, sorry, then you can go with the Mane point.
Sure, go ahead.
With the Sadio Mane point, I think it's such an easy thing to say we're missing Mane. Mane has not been very good for Bayern, by the way. Bayern fans haven't been enamored with his performances. For us, Luis Diaz, you will find, if you check the stats, has pressed more and ran more than Sadio Mane did. So, and Luis Diaz has goals and assists in his opening 5 seasons. Mane isn't the issue for me. Some people, it's a reactionary thing, or we're missing Sadio Mane. It's not. What the reason why we're missing Mane is the chemistry that he had with the forwards. And
exactly my point.
And obviously Darwin, but it's not only Mane, but that will come. That has to come. That can only come with playing. That doesn't come with just we're talking about it. That comes with the more they play. And the fact that he's still contributing whilst learning to play with the his teammates, including Darwin, including Jota, including Mo, we will have teething problems, no doubt about it. And I did say we will have teething problems at the start in terms of going forward. Sorry, the floor is yours.
But the matter of fact is, like you said, in terms of, like you said, Mane is not performing at his optimal even at Bayern. Okay, but when he was at Liverpool, you knew that there were 2 people you need to be really scared about. Let's say if Chelsea was facing Liverpool, we had 2 people we knew we have to keep a check on. One has to be Salah, the second has to be Mane. Because we knew if we are concentrating on Salah, Mane gets a space. It's vice versa, the same thing. The matter of fact is, in the Liverpool system, Mane suited better. That was the point, because he used to drop in that space, collect the ball, let's say just from the midfield to the forward position. He used to take that ball, which would allow defenders to come towards Mane's side, and it allows Salah the space to run in behind. If you see the matter of fact, I've seen so many times, Salah used to come inside. He used to go towards forward position. He literally used to move towards the striker position, far post and all. Now, he is not able to do that. And at this present moment, yes, you can say he's doing creation part and everything. Luis Diaz also doing the same thing. He's running better. All of those things are there. But the matter of fact is, it's created a balance now. People don't need to go at Luis Diaz all in together, because they know that, yes, he will do a certain aspect, but he's not the same thing with Mane. He's not going to bully you, anything, all of those things.
Oh, fair enough. That's your opinion. Again, thank you very much for coming on, my friend. We have to keep it moving. So many people looking to call in. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Next time we can speak about Chelsea. We haven't even spoken about Chelsea.
Sure.
You wasted your call in for Liverpool again. Oh my God!
No,
and you're a Chelsea fan. Potter, CFC.
I wanted to speak this point because I've sent you same thing. No issue at all.
How big is Liverpool in your head? Like you came on the call and
not really.
About Liverpool. Oh my God.
Not really.
But anyway,
we will talk about Portugal very soon. Don't worry at all about that.
No. And I will remind you the points I made about your manager and who's no longer there. And I said to you, this will happen to your manager. So, but
we are used to it. It's Chelsea. We are used to it. We roll with it every day.
No problem. Take care, my friend. Look after yourself.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye. I love when they do that, man. People come in and talk about, remind me of things that they've said. That's what it's about. Being proven wrong, proven right, taking it, being able to come back with counters. But look, there's no denying that there's issues with the Liverpool team, like serious issues right now. But it's difficult to see if they're terminal or long.
You have to wait. You just have to wait and see, because as we keep saying, until the full squad is there, because you look at the positions of the players who are coming back, centre back, midfield, striker, these are spine of the team pretty much. So you just wait for that to come in. If things are still going wrong there, then I think you start really panicking. But right now, even though it's not looking good, calma, we wait a few weeks and we see what happens.
Exactly. Guys, we're 50 minutes nearly into the show. There's nearly 250 of you guys in here. We should have about 200 likes realistically, but we haven't even got close. Can everyone hit that like button? And then we can keep it moving.
Smash the likes.
Bilal, you won't believe this. There's another Chelsea fan coming on, another channel member. So he gets priority, I'm afraid. Channel members get priority, man. Here we go. It's Jezza in the house, my brother. How you doing? It's like the Chelsea calling show, man. But hopefully he may want to talk about Chelsea rather than Liverpool. But we never know. It's his call. It's up to him.
Look. I've just got a few points to make. How are you, Bilal?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
No worries. No good. I saw the Brazilian national team came out, and none of your Gabriels were in the squad.
Oh shit!
Listen, Tite was at the Emirates Stadium a few weeks ago. We told him, rest our boys. We're keeping them ready for Liverpool, Tottenham, and Man City, man.
Did you find that funny, Grizz? Even what was it like? Europa League fodder Man United have more Brazilians in the Brazilian squad than title-winning Arsenal.
Well,
But
listen,
anyway,
why you come with these? Come with these fake news. Even the Brazilian journalists already said the Tite came out and said already. Gabriel Jesus, he's gonna be in the World Cup squad pretty much. It's just he's looking at other players. This is a 26-man squad. The other Brazilian journalists are saying Gabriel Magalhães already is going to be the 4th choice centre back. So now they're looking at Bremer and Ibanez. So they're going to see if they're going to be a 5th choice, because the right back situation at Brazil right now is very dodgy. Danilo's come in. Dani Alves might even get called up to the World Cup at this point. So they might have to take 5 centre backs just in case. The only Arsenal player out of them 3 Brazilians who might not get called up is probably Gabriel Martinelli. And that's because Neymar and Vinicius are in his position, and it'll probably be down to him or Rodrigo, who gets called up to be maybe that last attacker. So calm down, my friend. Calm down. Everything's good around here.
I saw some winger from Palmeiras. But anyway, I wanted to just chat to you about Liverpool, Grizz. Just the post-match Klopp interview. That's all I'm here for.
Of course.
I will get to the pot. I'm not sure about the potable before. That might be a bit soon, but hey, big up to him. The reinvent, what did you make of his comment that we have to reinvent ourselves? Because that might be a good idea, considering that you can't really bring in players right now. The window's closed. I just thought in my head a quick one, and then you can give me your opinion. A 3-4-3 when everyone is fit. You have Adamson, you have Khanage, Matip, Virgil at the back, however you want, wherever you want to play them. You got Trent and Fabinho. I mean, not Trent and Fabinho, Hendo and Fabinho, sorry, in the middle. Fabinho can sit, Henderson can go up and down and do what he likes. You got Trent further forward. You give license to Robbo to do what he does best, and that's use those. I don't know what happens in Ireland, or where's he from? Is it Ireland or Scotland? Scotland. Yes. You see, I watch WWE. Drew McIntyre has the same lungs, like he just doesn't die. So I think if you give Robbo that license to go forward, and then you got Salah, Nunes, Jota, even. In my opinion, it should be Firmino. I think Nunes right now, if with the red card, if you took the heat, I think Firmino should just be playing, especially off the back of that Bournemouth. I know it's only Bournemouth, but I mean, he would have taken some confidence from the assists and stuff. So when Nunes came straight back, I get you paid 80 million for the guy, but I don't know. I just think, I don't know. What do you think?
So back to his comment about what was the comment?
Reinvent.
Yeah. So he said that straight after the game, and then he further elaborated in the press conference. So what he meant, he says what he meant was not a change in mad total change, but he meant sort of we need to reinvent ourselves. We need to. He says he meant go back to what makes us hard to beat. He says he meant what it takes for us to be not as easy to play against, which is, of course, high energy, high octane pressing, making it difficult for you to lift your head up, pick out a pass every time you get the ball, like every team has at the moment. But a lot of Liverpool fans are saying they can't really see that with the personnel we've got right now, with the injury situation, with the level of energy, like which is apparent. Like everyone saw Trent, everyone's seeing Fabinho right now, everyone's seeing Milner right now. The light at the end of the tunnel, as I said, is Henderson will be back after a little layoff. Thiago looked good when he came on. I don't know if you guys saw that. He did. Thiago gives me a little bit of hope. Jota looked good since he's come back. He'll be starting ready and get ready, making games. And Konate is absolutely huge. Pardon the pun. He's massive anyway. I agree he's huge, but he's a huge player. He's become a huge element, in my opinion, of this Liverpool team. He's an absolute rock. Gomez, for me, before that performance has been good. But that performance was spooky.
It was Mustafi at his best.
Mustafi, Lovren-esque, Man City people will tell you Otamendi-esque. I mean, these
David
Luiz.
David Luiz ain't never put a stinker like that.
Oh, shush.
Trust me, I'm a Chelsea fan.
That Gomez stinker.
David Luiz.
Even Harry Maguire, even Harry Maguire hasn't put a stinker like that.
For your team, David
He's saying Harry Maguire. He's saying Harry Maguire.
Even Harry Maguire hasn't bro, Gomez, that was one of the
it
worst
was.
things I've ever seen.
It was. But all those players have put in performances like that. Don't tell me otherwise. People, are we seriously saying in the chat, still 250 people in you? People, are we seriously saying Harry Maguire, David Luiz ain't put performances like that? Like, all right, Mustafi, I gave you. Otamendi, yeah.
No,
Who's the other brother at City? Who's that? Mangala.
Yeah.
Chelsea have had a few as well, bro.
We had Jilaboji. Did not go there. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying
even recently, Malang Sarr
as well, yeah.
No, I don't know about that one. But anyway.
Chelsea, you like him? No, he's okay.
Who?
But like Malang Sarr didn't look too good to me. Like
I'm not saying he's a world beater, but he's not like, for me, I look at, like, I don't think he's in that bracket of a Holding or who was at the back, or a Nat Phillips. I don't think he's quite there. He's still very young, and he's got attributes. He's got athletic attributes. The technical ability is not there, but you're seeing it with Emerson Royale. Emerson Royale has no technical attributes. But his physical attributes means he can defend well. So you can always, when you've been coached with Jose and Conte, you've seen Kurt Zuma at CDM. Yeah, there are always players in there. But anyway, the last thing I want to also gloat on was obviously Trent's bad performance and Reece James signing a new deal. We're going to get onto Todd Bowley's madness later, but Reece James signing a new deal. Don't need to say much. The fact that he's got 250k as a right back, that's going to put off. Yeah, 250k. That's
them Real Madrid links must have been real, because
exactly that's what I'm saying. There were no Real Madrid links or any links for Trent, but there was City were also circling as a Walker replacement.
Yeah, City were linked.
And so as much as it's been a terrible week for Chelsea, and Tuchel is Tuchel, for me, I'm kind of over it. It's Chelsea. I started watching Chelsea 03, 04, around that time. The only time I've ever felt heartbroken is Jose. Jose is the only one for me that is even that 15-16 season. The season before, we stopped Liverpool winning the league. Diego Costa comes in. That was obviously the famous slip season. And then Diego Costa comes in for Demba Ba. Fabregas comes in, being an Arsenal player, and does what Fabregas does with Diego Costa. That was unbelievable. So Jose is the only one for me. But Tuchel's development of Reece James has been, I think, very much underlooked. Yes, it's another defender that he improved, but just when I look at Reece James on himself, under Lampard, it was his first season, but Tuchel brought that, gave him the responsibility. I think about his performance against Arsenal at the Emirates, the assist for Lukaku, and he slapped in the goal in the top corner himself. He's just been really, really big for us in so many ways. Just the goals, the assists, and then again the defending. Yes, playing Sterling might have been a bad idea for Pep or whatever, but at the end of the day, it was a Champions League final, and he played right centre back to Mark Sterling. And the reason why Sterling looked so bad was because Reece James was on him at right centre back. So he's going to be a special player for us. And getting on to Graham Potter, he saw Reece James score a rocket against Brighton in his first season. We went away to Brighton and won 3-0, and Reece James scored a rocket. So I hope Potter can bring that more out of him, because I don't think he takes enough shots from distance. You see Trent slapping them in from yards out. I don't think Reece James would have any difficulty doing the same. He just obviously needs to be instructed more. That's it. But on the Potter thing, I'm with CFC OG. Look, he's got to get us top 4. He has the players. If he's this manager that can, I'm just talking, never mind the egos aside, just from a coaching point of view, get them playing more cohesively, new manager bounce, all of that stuff. I don't see why we cannot get top 4. If we miss out on top 4, obviously with context. However, if he's as good as people are making him out to be, because I don't watch Brighton every week, so I know they play good football. I will watch their highlights, especially when there's a big score. I was a huge fan of Adam Lallana, a huge fan. So when he went to Brighton, when he was at Southampton, I was a big fan of Adam Lallana. And then he went to Liverpool, and then when he went to Brighton and he was playing regularly, like 8 or a 10 or a 6, like I really loved watching that. So I was a big fan of Adam Lallana. So that's as much Brighton as you're going to get from me. He stopped playing, I stopped watching them. But if he's as good as everyone says he is, there's no reason why he can't do what Sarri done. Even if he doesn't get out of the Champions League group, okay? We give you a blinder. You've never coached at that level. You've coached at Europa League level.
Who's in that group? Dinamo Zagreb. Your group is easy.
I'm
There's
just
no
saying.
Who is in that group?
It's not a serious group.
No, it's not a serious group. AC
So Dinamo
Milan,
Zagreb,
AC
Salzburg
Milan, and
That's
Salzburg.
Listen,
You see, an Arsenal fan knows. I can barely watch the Europa League, and then the group stage games. Like, I'll watch it different.
Because Dinamo Zagreb. Okay, you didn't expect to lose that one at all. So
No, but they weren't playing for him at that point. They weren't playing for him at that point.
I agree with you.
There was a moment where Reece James takes some of our set pieces. Ziyech came on, and Ziyech might not be a quality player, but I'll tell you this, he's highly respected, especially by our young players. And I don't know if that's just because of a cultural influence. He's Ziyech, he's the cool guy, he's always dressed the same. Callum Hudson-Odoi, whether that's to their benefits or to their detriment, I don't know. But I know for a fact that the young players really, really respect Ziyech. And he must do, Ziyech might not be producing, but he's a wonderful player. So he might do crazy things, and he'll do crazy things in training that'll make young kids' eyes go up just on a footballing level as well. So he literally would push Reece James at every set piece. No worry, I'm going to take it. And he'd put in a stinker. And I've seen that time and time again at Chelsea. There'll always be one or two players that are fighting for the manager. And then there'll be another lot of players, senior or indifferent, that are not like feeling him. Got American ownership. The American talent, Pulisic, is dying on the bench, wanting to leave and stuff like that. I'm not saying those are all things that will culminate in all of that. But anyway, yeah, what do you think? You guys want us to have patience as Chelsea fans?
I've said my piece. I think I'm going to let Bilal speak on Chelsea and Potter. I think it's a fantastic appointment. Call it what you want. He needs to be given time, though. It doesn't make sense because all those players that you've bought were on the face of it too cool players. Like Aubameyang, definitely. Aubameyang is too cool. Koulibaly is too cool. He would have wanted experience, replacing experience. You can imagine he wanted now. Whereas Potter prefers young, more progressive, multifaceted type players. Look at his Brighton team: Trossard, Pascal Gross. Solly March playing like left-footed, playing right wing back. He's totally innovative. He's totally different. But it's interesting times as Chelsea fans, nevertheless, because I would be hurt that we've got rid of Tuchel, but I'd be excited to see what Potter can bring. I don't know what Bilal thinks.
Yeah, listen, I've been saying the same thing to like everyone. I was like, listen, Potter, for me, it was key. If you're going to sack Tuchel, what kind of manager are you going to bring to replace him? If I saw Chelsea go and get Zidane or Pochettino, I would have said same old Chelsea, Hollywood side.
No to Pochettino and no to Poch. Jeez, oh my heart.
I'd say it was not a serious appointment. But now with Potter, I can see, okay, maybe Chelsea are now gearing towards having a project, being more like a Man City and Liverpool, because you can win the Champions League, you can win the FA Cup, you can win the Carabao Cup with, by chopping and changing managers. But to win the league title, you have to be consistent in all aspects. And now that's what Graham Potter should bring to the team. I was doing I was looking at some of his stats before he took over at Brighton and after he's taken over at Brighton, and you can see the difference between Houghton's Brighton and his Brighton in terms of the counter pressing. It went from non-existent to completely off the charts pretty much for Brighton. So I think that's the first thing he's going to be bringing into Chelsea and getting them up to speed, getting the energy back into Chelsea. Because sometimes we watch Chelsea, it's lethargic, it's boring, it's lacking ideas. But maybe the only criticism that he's had at Brighton that I can think of that's been a major criticism has been the chance finishing. The Brighton can have the ball, they'll create good chances, but there's no one there sometimes to finish the chances. But you'd expect now going to Chelsea, with higher quality players like Raheem Sterling, Aubameyang, even the likes of Broha, who I think is going to actually become now. I think he's going to start becoming an important player, especially under Potter. I think, yes, maybe the finishing now and that criticism of Potter ball will start being answered at Chelsea. So overall, I think it's a good signing, but you guys have to give him patience, because if there is a chance this doesn't work out. Short-term appointment, the games are coming thick and fast. It might be hard to change the way Chelsea are playing, but another massive positive is that fact that at Brighton, we talk about all them players, the Solly Marches and McAllisters and Pascal Gross. All of these guys can play different positions, and Chelsea have a lot of players who don't seem to have a position, if that makes sense. So Potter can mold them the way he likes. So I think that's going to be a massive, massive plus. The player profiles at Chelsea suit him. And if you get a director of football in 2 years' time, let's say, and Potter's still there building, I could see something really special happening. But is the patience going to be there? That's the question, because it might not be as smooth as it looks. Look at Ten Hag at Man United. He's just started his project. He's got the money as well. Who knows where Man United are going to be in 12 months or 18 months. Chelsea are entering that sort of territory now. So, yeah, you're just going to need the patience. But if you don't give him the patience, in my opinion, then I don't know. Long day for Chelsea.
Can I ask a question, Jezza, before we let you go? Director of football wise, what's your thoughts on the director of football situation? Because it's paramount, right? Because Potter is used to working with a director of football and a successful one at that. How are you feeling about that? What's the names being branded about? Michael Edwards, I told you lot from time.
I know
remember?
you're not gonna like my thoughts on the director of football, and I need to emphasize this. I could agree with you more. There's no way. I've seen kind of the stuff that's come out. It seems like he wants a break from football in general, and it doesn't seem like he's interested to come and work. However, the other day, it just hit me. I was like, but this Bowley guy has money. We've seen it now. We've seen it. It is what it is. He seems like the kind of guy, and I've never been to America, but my impression of them as a nation is that everything's quite impulsive. And he seems to me like the kind of guy that would pay serious money for at least consultation, because we heard, I don't know is Michael Edwards American as well, because I've seen some mutual friends.
Stop the chat about Michael Edwards. I've just told you this is inside information. He's not interested. No.
Targets changed. When they changed, I don't see why there can't be a WhatsApp message here and all there.
I'm just telling you this is from the horse's mouth. Stop the chat. Yeah. It's not an issue. So talk to me. Who would you like to see? So talk to me. Who would you like to see? Michael Edwards is not being chosen.
There's nobody out there that I think is available unless Bowley does go and pay them out. I saw a clip on Twitter from Alex Goldberg. There's this player that when Potter went to Osterson's, he took him from England, he coached him when he was 12 and picked him up and kind of kept him at Osterson's, and they went through the leagues. And he was saying there's this young guy that's in the photo. I don't want to show the photo in case you get a copyright strike, but if you just check the photo that Chelsea have posted on Twitter, there's 4 guys around them, and there's a kind of younger-ish guy that's got dark hair, and he's got a comb over. Now, he is apparently the guy that's responsible for spotting the players, but now he's got a totally different budget. And on top of it, there are a lot of, I can see the fans, especially in the UK, seem to have, ever since the Abramovich thing, there's a big say in the fans. And I know John Terry is definitely behind that kind of thing, with all the stuff that happened and the political stuff and all of that. There are some targets, like Declan Rice, for instance. He's always with either JT, Joe Cole, Mason Mount, even Didier Drogba. I think Didier Drogba flew him out, correct me if I'm wrong, to Ivory Coast and stuff like that. So he's definitely been groomed in some sort of way. He's not signing a new deal. Now, I'm not saying Potter wouldn't take him, but that is a player that a lot of Chelsea fans want, and we see that can solve our situation. Because just like Man United fans get carried away with Martinez. He's a good defender, and he started really, really well. And I think I'd never watched him play until he came. So with everything that I had read before he came, everybody seems to have judged him prematurely. He's like Gary Neville and Azpilicueta in the sense when they go up for a header, they don't necessarily have to outjump the guy. But as the guy takes the leap in the air, they'll nudge him, and all of a sudden the header is missed, and they'll defend it like smartly. However, they're not going to win the league with that. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen a Premier League champions like. You need two big centre backs to win the Premier League, or at least physical, and you need a proper DM. And when I say two big centre backs, I mean like Ferdinand Vidic, Matip / Gomez, and Virgil. You had Adams and Sol Campbell. You had Carvalho and Terry. And right in front of them, you've got Fabinho, you've got Rodri, you've got Matic, you've got Makalele, you've got Obi Mikel. You need that little triangle there before. I think to win this league, you need something like that, And I think that's what Arsenal missed when their teams when they had like Ozil, Alexis, and they would be top at January and stuff, and they would falter away because although Santi Cazorla was a brilliant player in terms of progressing the ball, to actually kick on, you unfortunately you need that profile of player. And when Thomas Partey came in, you guys were excited. We just haven't seen him. So director of football, I'm just hoping that whatever was at Brighton comes over.
You missed out though. You missed out on the Newcastle. Newcastle snapped up Dan Ashworth. He was at Brighton. He was the one making all the moves pretty much.
Yeah.
And Newcastle took him already. So, but I did see that there will be some guys coming in from Brighton, but Brighton themselves are not going to want to get gutted, in terms of what's happening in the backroom staff, in the scout.
Yeah, but
that's what's keeping.
Yeah, but Bowley will pay.
This is the part. Not just Bowley. The big boys will be circling now for their players, man.
Yeah,
and for the talent spotters of not only Brighton. Similar things happened to Leicester as well.
Yeah.
So the two best recruitment stroke teams in terms of recruitment and transfers over the last 4 or 5 years, you would say were after Liverpool, Brighton and Leicester, right? And
sometimes it doesn't work though. Sometimes it doesn't work because the Leicester guy, I think he went to Everton, and look what's happened there. So it didn't actually work out. And Brentford's going to be another team soon that's going to start getting picked apart in terms of what they're doing. Their analytics, their scouting is really good as well. So that's another team to watch out for. Even their manager, I think he said today he wouldn't leave Brentford unless something special happens. Maybe the Denmark job, I don't know, maybe in the future. But yeah, I think Bowley, as I keep saying, you just need patience here. He's put so much money down. He's not the only guy though invested in Chelsea. He's a face, but there's so many guys behind him with the real money. And if he keeps just splashing money left, right, and center, it's gonna start causing problems because a lot of people involved in this operation at Chelsea. So he has to make sure he starts getting it right. And that's why I think Chelsea now, what they're trying to do is they're trying to spend the money, get things in place, and then afterwards, Bowley already said it. He wants that Liverpool model in a few years when things start settling down. So let's see. I think Chelsea probably one of the most interesting stories in the next.
It is 100%. 100%.
It's always interesting. It's always chaotic. That's why I think there's no excuse for Potter. But yeah, anyway.
Your time is up, my brother. It's been a pleasure as always. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Right. Always lovely chatting to you. Look after yourself.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, just a couple of super chats before we get on to the next callers. Guys, there's people in the studio with no camera. I will remove you from the studio if you have no camera. I have asked you to put your camera on. A few people, no response. I will have to remove you because there's people trying to get into the studio who want to get on. Call-in show, you have to have your camera on unless I know you personally and Bilal knows you personally. Then you're excused or you've been on the show before. Also, channel members and new callers get priority. So, Chris, if you haven't got a camera, Steve, if you haven't got a camera, Michael, if you haven't got a camera, there's two Michaels. The two Michaels, Talks Michael Griggs, you guys are good. I know you and you've got cameras on, but there's another Michael who hasn't got a camera on. Guys, no camera, no calling. Couple of super chats before we go on. Where are they? Give me 1 second. Okay, so Chelsea OG says, I hope Potterball translates well. Go Broha. Thoughts on Broha? I like him. I think I think Potter could do bits with him.
Yeah, I keep saying, I think now that Potter's actually coming, I think Bro is going to become an important player. I think Bro has got the profile. He can link up play, even though it's not his strongest point, but the way he carries the ball is something that's going to be really, really helpful to Potter. And he's so young. You can develop him, mold him. He's got all the physical qualities. He's got the technical qualities. He's a project. And if you're building a project like Chelsea now, have a project
and
striker.
Potter loves projects, but
Exactly.
Chelsea don't like projects. So it's that's why it's
a
intriguing.
Culture clash. It's mad.
This is why it's intriguing. Chelsea hate projects. Potter is a project manager. Broha is probably one of the brightest projects in the Premier League in terms of people see a lot in him.
Mm-hmm.
But then you just need him to play a lot and progress.
Exactly.
And look, and we've spoken to how many Chelsea fans today? Three
already, I believe.
And all of them are saying we ain't got time. All of them said we ain't got time. We don't want patience. We want now. And it's indicative.
They're used to that. They're used to that. If you're a Chelsea fan, as Jazza said, he supported them since 2004. Yeah, you're just used to winning trophies every single year, pretty much, and not really having to go through the tough times like Liverpool or Arsenal and United now. So Chelsea are used to that.
People hate that line thrown. People hate that line thrown at them, right? Of glory hunter or only knowing one thing about your club in terms of when I say one thing, but only knowing the good times or fairly good times or progressive times. Even it doesn't necessarily mean it. Sometimes you may not have seen the dip. Do you get what I mean? Like you may have come in at a scary time, but you knew it was progressive.
It's going up. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is what it is. Sometimes it's a fact, and you have to just deal with it, man. It's not that deep. Liverpool 12th man sent the super chat. He says, in my opinion, when comparing who's best right back, Trent Alexander is the benchmark. This is such a long debate, innit? When he plays well, when he gets assists, everyone goes overboard about him. When he makes a mistake, everyone goes overboard about him. There is no extremes with Trent. Let me just, from a Liverpool fan point of view, say it once and for all. And then you say it from outside, because that's what I've got you on for as well. In terms of Liverpool topics, Trent isn't the greatest right back the Premier League's ever seen. Trent is nowhere near the worst right back in the league. Trent is an amazingly good fullback on the ball, which still has lots of learning to do, because he's 23 and he's playing in a position that he's only played for 5 seasons out of his whole footballing career. Since he's been playing football since 12, 13 years old, he's only been playing right back at the highest level for about 5-6 seasons. Think about it. And he's won every single trophy there is to win whilst playing there. Of course, he's got flaws. No one is going to tell you, except deluded Liverpool fans or top stands of Trent, that they're going to say he's the most perfect fullback. Shut up. He's already elite GOAT. He's not, man. But then you get dickheads saying, oh, you know what? He's rubbish at fullback. He's got flaws in his game. He's crap. Every game he gets. Go and watch Liverpool. Go and see Liverpool last 5 seasons and who's instrumental in a lot of those cup, Champions League, FA Cup, Premier League successes. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Sometimes there's a medium. Sometimes wait. Sometimes let him reach the age of 28, 27, when we'll have a better evaluation, a bigger sample spread of, is this guy the genius that some Liverpool fans say he is, or was he dross and overrated as some fans think he is? Your thoughts?
For the last few years, I've loved Trent so much, so I'm not the type who's going to just turn on him just because of a few funny games that he's been playing in the last, just a few matches that started this season. Even last season's Trent, for me, was playing at a really, really high level. And it was only few games where it's not even that he wasn't defending. Sometimes, of course, he's going to get targeted. He's attacking fullback. He gets up the pitch. You know,
it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science.
Exactly. Sometimes, yes, he could get beaten to the back post. You know, sometimes a header could come in. That can happen. But the things that he offers for me, Trent, in terms of just the way I like football as well, I was saying to the boys the other day as well, saying, listen, I can see Trent. I know you guys, Liverpool fans, don't want him to leave or anything, but I could imagine him playing for Barcelona and really just absolutely dominating in that kind of system. But the Trent we're seeing right now, of course, there's no defending it because he doesn't even want to move. It's not a case of him not even trying to. Yeah, as I think Avinash said it, just doesn't want to move. Kavicha the other day, just knocking the ball past him. He's nonchalant, not even bothering to do anything. But that's not the Trent we know. The Trent we've seen for 99% of his career, pretty much going to right back at Liverpool, has been a guy who's been one of the most consistent players in the Premier League. So on that side, for me, you just have to. I rate him so highly, and it's kind of sad for me to see what he's doing right now. So, but I hope he comes out of this. This break will come for him at the good time, and he comes back in the next few games, and we see the Trent that we know. Because right now, it's something bigger going on. I don't think it's just maybe it might not be just football, because it doesn't really make sense what's going on with him. I'll be honest. Some of the things I was seeing the other day don't really make sense, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, fair enough, exactly. We got Joshua waiting to come in now, guys. Next caller. Yes, Joshua, remind us who you support and take the floor, what you want to talk about.
Yes. I'm a Liverpool fan, and
beg your pardon, of course.
Got a lot to say, I guess. Got a lot to
go for it, my friend. The floor is yours. You have about 5 to 10 minutes.
Cool, man. Honestly, I feel like where do we start? Everybody's on Liverpool's backs right now, right? Liverpool. How many words can you think of to describe how Liverpool are playing right now? Like lackluster, dull, uninspiring. All of the words in the thesaurus that you can find. It's crazy, but an overreaction, in my opinion, an overreaction. Let's have a look at it. Let's take some logic here. That Community Shield match against Man City, 3-1. We were saying Liverpool looked sharp. Liverpool looked ready for the season. We were saying that Liverpool this is a season that we feel that we can actually take charge. You look at our bench in that game. You look at the options that we have on the bench in that game. All of the options that we're missing now. You think about Curtis Jones, Naby Keita, Elliott, Gavalio, Milner, Gomez. All of those guys are on the bench. We've needed to use them. 10 injuries. That's mentally for the team. You think about it, yeah. Think about what the boys are thinking. Not just what Klopp's thinking, but think about what the boys are thinking. You heard it in Van Dijk's interview where he's saying we need midfielders. They're the engine of our team. You think they're playing and they're probably thinking everybody around us is dropping like flies. Who's around us? And you got to think for them as well. Mentally, for them, it's a challenge. And that's what we're finding. It's not just us as fans that are going to be annoyed about the amount of injuries. It's not just Klopp. It's not just the coaches. It's the players as well. And one thing you're looking at the results and you're looking at like what a lot of people are saying is, the fact of the matter is that the engine room is where we're lacking, right? Fabinho, yeah, we've seen him. He's had some stinking performances, some absolute shocking performances. But the two people in front of him, like you said plenty of times, Grizz, Elliott and Milner, not the quickest. Fabinho is not the quickest. Think about that 2018 to 2020 run where we had Gini and we had Hendo. They were the legs. They were the workers. Fabinho cleaned up. It almost reminds me of, when we lost the title in 2014, when Hendo got sent off against Man City.
Yep.
I honestly feel like that could have been, I honestly paint that as one of the big reasons as we lost. Back the title back then, when Hendo got the red card, he couldn't play against Chelsea, he couldn't play against Crystal Palace. And it's the same thing that we're seeing right now. The 2018 to 2020 season where we were so prolific, we was running the show. And honestly, in them 2 seasons, especially in that 2019-2020 season, I was going into games thinking we're not going to lose. There's no way we're losing this game. I was so confident going into these games because Gini, Hendo, they were doing all of that dirty work. They were doing all the running around. Milner and Elliott can't do that. It's why we're starting to see Trent being exposed so much, because even though Elliott is fantastic, it reminds me of when he came back against Napoli from the injury last year, or earlier on this year, sorry, when he came back from injury. And he was terrible in that 45 minutes. He was absolutely terrible. You can't do that job that Hendo does. You know, I know people talk about, you know, we need a creative midfielder to score goals. We need somebody to do those type of things. But those boys, they do the work. They do the work that Klopp likes. They do that dirty work. They do the hard yards in that midfield. It's why Klopp said we need to reinvent ourselves. It's the exact reason why he said that we need to reinvent ourselves, because we don't have that. Right now, we're missing that still. We're missing that gal. You know, you think our loss against United, Hendo played in the 6, but sometimes he was vacating that role. He was drifting out to the right, leaving United to have the whole back four to run at. You know, and this is what we're missing right now. And I feel like once injuries come back, once players come back, once they slowly start to come back, we'll start to see the proper Liverpool. I don't think it's the goals. I don't think it's... Because even the goals debate where people are talking about you miss Mane, you miss Sadio, I think even that is just rubbish. I'll be honest with you. Yes, every team's going to miss a Sadio, of course. But you think about it. Let's take this, break it down a little bit. 18-19 season, yeah? Liverpool scored 115 goals in that season. Apart from Sadio and Mo, only one player got above 10 goals in all competitions, and that was Firmino, yeah? 1920 season, again, only 2 players got above 10 goals in that season, yeah? And that was Bobby. Sorry, only one person got above 10 goals. That was Bobby, and the next was Ox on 8. 21-22 season, you've now got 5 players, Mo, Sadio, Jota, Bobby, and Taki, all above 10 goals, yeah? Now you got to think about this season. I know we lost Sadio. I know we lost Taki. We're bringing Nunes. We're bringing Diaz is there, and it's not inconceivable to imagine that Carvalho can pick up some of them goals that Taki, them 10 goals that Taki scored. It's not inconceivable to imagine that he can score 6 to 8 throughout the whole season across all competitions.
He's on 1 already.
He's on 1 already, right?
He's a better player, so
and he's a better. In my opinion, he's a better player. Yeah. He's going to be playing more Prem games. Klopp's going to trust him a lot more in them Prem games. This is my thing. The goals aren't the issue. It's that midfield powerhouse. It's that midfield. It's the injuries. You know, Van Dijk stinks right now. But honestly, I feel the reason Van Dijk stinks is because he has one eye on that World Cup. Let's be honest. He's seen Genie just go out for 5 months. He doesn't want to be in that position. He's missed the Euros. He hasn't been to a major competition as of yet. He's got one eye on that World Cup. He knows that as long as he's fit, he's the first name on that Netherlands team sheet. He doesn't want to miss it. He's got one eye on that World Cup. That's why he's stinking out the gaff. You think about. And it's not, again, people are criticizing the defense. It's not the defense. Again, yeah, it's the injuries that are involved in it. It's not crazy to understand that 2019-2020 season where we won the league, we conceded 63 goals in all competition, yeah, while playing 57 matches. Last season, 63 matches, we conceded 48 goals. And guess what? Matip was fit for most of that season. Guess what? Khanage was fit for most of that season. We was able to rotate. I don't want to go back and be the sympathy man and talk about injuries, but let's be honest. We have to have some logic here. We have to have some reason in it. Yeah. And that's the main reason why Liverpool in the dumpsters right now. What's your opinion on what I said?
Josh, I think you've pretty much nailed it, man, on the whole. I share those opinions. Not many have that much faith left in our team. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of do like shows on a few platforms, and it's very hard and it's very difficult. And sometimes, you know what it is, Josh? Like when you're on different platforms and with different people repping different teams, the barrage you face, right, of the same accusations again and again and again, sometimes it plays havoc with your brain as well. And you get dragged in to thinking yeah, it's true. Or yeah, even if you don't believe it still in your heart of hearts, Josh, yeah, you start thinking, yeah, maybe I need to open up my brain a little bit and think and think and think and think and think. And sometimes we're all human. We get guilty of that. We're all human. We get influenced as much as we think we're not. We're not easily influenced. We think we have strong beliefs. We have willpower. We know what's wrong. And this goes not just for fans, Josh. This goes for players and coaches as well. There will be times where Jurgen Klopp sitting with Pep Linders and thinking, what are we doing wrong here? What is it? Are we being too stubborn in certain situations, or are we not being flexible enough? So I'm with you, man. And I've said for many weeks now, right now we're stinking out the gaff, trying to defend Liverpool right now is like Liverpool was defending shambolic, right? It's non-existent, right? But I think I said it to the previous Liverpool caller. I can't remember. It was a Chelsea fan, wasn't it, Bilal? That I said, if you say these things to me once we have Konate, Thiago, Henderson, who else is out, man? The top of my head, these players, but all these players, if they're back in the squad on match days and we put out stinky performances like we did the other day, then my God, our problems are far, far deeper than most people think. But until then, we have to speak on the performances. Until then, we have to admit they are shit. And until then, we have to keep persevering with the likes of Carvalho and Elliott and saying James Milner shouldn't be in the team. We have to speak on it. Bobby Firmino looks washed. We have to speak on it. Joe Gomez had probably one of the worst games of his career. Not Liverpool career, I'd argue. And it happens. Players have nightmares. Are we now suddenly saying Joe Gomez won't ever be of good quality again? I don't know if he will get to that quality before his injury. I don't know. But to say that he's finished, he's done after that wild performance, admittedly, for me, it's hard to say that. Some people may say it. Some people might have the insight and the knowledge to say, yeah, that's him done. I'm not denying their insight. You badmans. You know more. No, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm real. You know more than I don't know. If you guys can write off Joe Gomez after that performance and say he's done out here, then fair play to you. I can say he had a shit game. He deserves 1 and 2 out of 10. But I'm hoping the kid comes good again because he's played good up until before then. So this is the way I look at it, Josh, man. I think we need to bide our time. I will criticize Jurgen Klopp for not being more adaptive to the situation he finds himself in. Yeah, go on. You want to come in?
No, he needs to adapt, right? Mm-hmm. But one thing we've criticized Klopp about for the past couple of years is making substitutions too late. Yeah, he's been trying throughout these games this season. He has been trying. He's making halftime subs. He's making subs at 60 minutes. He just doesn't have the personnel. Against what was it? On the bench, I think I can't remember 2 games ago. There was only Carvalho.
We had no one. We had 2 keepers. We had 2 keepers on the bench.
What do you want him to do? He can't turn water into wine.
Yeah. Get Alisson in the midfield, man. Alisson could do a job in midfield.
No, man. Oh, you know what? He's overrated on the ball. I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm telling you now, he's overrated on the ball. Yeah, he is. He's not good on the ball, I'm telling you.
Yeah. You think Adamson is better though? On the ball is better, but Alisson as a goalkeeper, 1-on-1 shot stoppers, next
monster,
level.
The best.
Yeah,
the best. But on the ball, he's overrated. Don't let Liverpool fans tell you he's goated on the ball.
There's a stat I saw recently, and it said last season at this point, like 5 or 6 games in, Liverpool had run 11 kilometers more than any other team, right, in the Premier League. But now, after this season, 5 or 6 games in, you've run like 11 kilometers less than most teams.
Who's running?
So that's a massive part of Liverpool's game.
Milner, not 37-year-old Milner, a pretty slow Elliott and a very slow Fabinho.
And MOT expired Firmino.
And exactly, who's doing the miles? Who's doing it? And again, you have to think about it. Yeah, we know that Klopp wouldn't have played Carvalho and Nunes so soon. He wouldn't have.
100%.
He wouldn't have plowed that pressure on them, but he had to. He had to. He had no other choice.
Jota would have been, and I've said it before. I said it at the start of the season. Jota would have been #1 striker. Nunes would have been eased in. But,
yeah,
and same for Carvalho, you know. But he wasn't. He had to go in there hard straight away. He still got a goal and an assist, I think, in his 3 starts. I believe.
Yeah. And we saw the impact that he had on when Nunes had when he came against City. You have to think, Jota starting against some of these teams, Nunes comes off the bench. They're just different games, but again, it's all what ifs. You can't change none of that. And again, it's a mad season. We're only 6 points off the top.
Well, see, the way I look at it, Josh, whilst we got BILAL here as well, like Josh, the way I look at it, we're 5 points off the leaders, really. Like, you know what I mean?
The real top.
Yeah, the real top. We look at City like as our, you know what I mean, 5 points off City. Like, nice Arsenal. Yeah, nice. But we're looking 5 points. And this is why I get everything about this weekend being time off, but I think this weekend would have been so wicked, people. So wicked. Tottenham versus City would have been a crazy game.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And Liverpool at Wolves, look, I would still expect us to beat Wolves at home. I'm not going to be that much of a pussy and say I wouldn't expect us to beat Wolves at home. Yes, Wolves, good. Yes, the manager's great. Yes, their midfielders, everyone's talking about walking over our midfielders. But I would have expected Thiago back in the team, Jota to be back in the team, Matip to be back in the team. And I would expect it to beat Wolves. Man City and Chelsea, Man City and Spurs, anything could have happened that game. 100%. Because we know both teams, Spurs give them a hard time every season. So if that would have reduced the gap on one of those teams, it would have reduced the gap.
100%.
I would, you know what I mean? Even Arsenal, you had Fulham. No, you had Fulham. Everton
at home should be an easy game.
You never know, bro. You never know. He's got.
That would have been a beautiful, easy 3 points, man. That would have been.
I don't know, man. I beg to differ. I'm not joking.
You're on the Iwobi hype now.
No, still not the Iwobi hype. Allow the Iwobi hype. But Josh, man, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, my brother, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling in, man. Look after yourself. See you soon. Look after yourself. All right.
Big up, man.
That was a nice call, man. That was a nice call.
Sometimes,
sometimes when you break it down and get away from the hype and the doom and the gloom, and you keep just chopping up and down. And look, some people may call you crazy for having that opinion. Some people might call you delusional for having a problem. But if you can rationalize it and back it up, then who's to say it's a wrong or a right opinion, right?
Yeah, listen, that's what we keep saying. We just got to wait. And I think even the running stats that I mentioned, I think that's why Henderson. People overlook him. I remember there was a debate about Henderson on this show like a few weeks ago, and people saying Henderson needs to go. But Henderson sets the tempo, man. Like, it is important. He's a leader in there. So maybe when he comes back, Konate, all of these guys, then the running, the intensity comes back to the team. Because like even Trent's little things that he's been doing recently, I'm pretty sure if Henderson's there, he might slap him around the head and not let him get away with that. So,
good point. That's true as well. Good point. I mean, obviously, if Henderson's having a good game himself, you know what I mean? That always helps and counts. But the funny thing is, even when he's having a shit game, the man's still shouting at everyone else. So that's one thing about Henderson. He just don't shout out. But sometimes it's good. Like maybe we wouldn't have put this level of performance if Henderson was on the pitch. But that was dire. That was embarrassing. That was zero leadership. You know, and it starts from Virgil. I'm sorry, it starts from the back, like Virgil, then through Fabinho to Milner to Mohamed Salah. None of them stepped in.
Because like Virgil, as great as a defender he has been and he is, he's not a leader in that sense. That's why Henderson, when Henderson normally plays for Liverpool, you see such a big difference when he's in and out of the team. So that's what I always look at when I see Liverpool. When I see Henderson on the pitch and Liverpool's got the intensity and everything's going well. And listen, I'm not even a Henderson stand like that. I don't even rate him like a footballer in that sense. But I'm talking about mentality, intensity, just being a leader and getting everyone moving. He's that guy. Van Dijk, passive at times, lets things bypass him, and he's doing it more and more. Maybe the World Cup point, maybe that's a thing. And if that is the case, I'd be really disappointed if I was a Liverpool fan. If you're thinking about something that's going to happen in a few months,
we done a post-match Khanage to one of the games, and you know Errol, from Redman TV, he came out with that, and it went hard in the chat. We had like nearly 2,000 people in the chat, and everyone was like, oh shit. Some were like, we didn't even think about that aspect. And some were like, don't you dare doubt Virgil van Dijk like that. So it's one of those ones where you have to hope
he's not thinking like that. You have to hope because if he is thinking like that, It's terrible, to be honest, in my opinion. Like, it's so wrong to be thinking.
There's
like
no evidence
for your team.
But if you think about it, there's no evidence that he is, and there's no evidence that he isn't. It's literally what we know of the player, and with speculation, and yeah, only he knows if he's giving it 100% every time. Only he knows. He's got that in the back of his head, and it's a mad thing to have in your head. This is why it's a fuckery having this World Cup in the middle of the season.
Are you going to go fully in for these 50-50, or are you going to just hang back?
Sometimes people underestimate what a privilege and what an honor is for people to represent their country, or not only represent their country, but capture their country for the first time in a World Cup like that. You know what I mean? It's mental. In a tournament like that, any tournament, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. We don't know. We're just chatting. You know what I mean? We're just people. You know, people bring out a suggestion, and we think, oh, okay, or now ban that idea.
But the Wijnaldum point got me thinking. That's why I started thinking about it more. Like, he did get injured. We've seen a lot of players. I remember Marco Reus before one of the World Cups in 2014 missed out because of injury. Koscielny, I remember Koscielny. This is a big one. I'll give you the Arsenal example. Koscielny missed out on. He got injured, did his Achilles against Atletico Madrid. I think Europa semi-final, and then he missed the World Cup. He was never the same. Came back to Arsenal, moody, depressed, says he wants to leave. But it was all stemmed not because he hates Arsenal. He gave his everything to Arsenal, but it was all because he missed the World Cup. He saw the French team win the World Cup.
See what I'm saying?
That killed him. So it can be a thing.
Psychology plays a massive, massive part in a footballer's career path. Trust me, and we know this, but people are slowly waking up to the fact that psychology plays a massive, huge part. That's why you get so many clubs having so many people on the mental side of things and psychologists in sort of part of the staff almost. And you think to yourself, what, man? What are you telling me about psychological, man? I know what I'm doing. I'm getting paid thousands, or people think they're getting paid thousands. Go out the pitch and do your thing. It's deeper than that, man. It's 2022, man. Wake up. But
football's a thinking game, man.
100%. Let's get the next caller in. We got Talks Michael in the building. We're gonna bring him into the stream now. Yes, my friend. How are you?
Good, you?
Not too bad. Welcome to the stream, man. How are you? How's everything?
I'm all right, man. At least there's no Liverpool this week, and I took a break from that and was able to watch the rest of the football. So yeah.
What game did you watch by chance?
I watched.
What games?
I mean, I watch European football every weekend. So what did I watch this weekend? Lots. No, I watched the Milan game, which is going on right now. Then I watched, of course, Napoli because Kivica Kvaratskhelia. Then Dortmund, and I don't even know what to say about Dortmund anymore. That's just not a big club anymore. I don't know what to make of them. And yeah, that's pretty much all the football I watched. Very entertaining as always, European football. Always is.
It is. Sometimes it's an eye opener. People that only watch Premier League. So I think the last time there was this much hype about European football was COVID times.
Yeah, because the Bundesliga started. Yep.
The Bundesliga started.
The
Dortmund Schalke.
Everybody went crazy for that.
People like BILAL became Dortmund fans sometimes, and now he's still talking about Dortmund. Like at the start, I had to school him at the start of the season when we were doing our predictions. I don't know if you saw a program, Michael. We done a Eurostars show, and BILAL was hyping about this Dortmund players and this team.
Yeah, I don't blame him. They made some good signings, to be honest.
No, they did not. I
wasn't hyping them. Listen, I wasn't hyping them that day. It was the day they played.
Wasn't you?
The comeback.
I was saying they got young players, but they didn't play good. And that's been the theme of their season. There's no structure. Even today, Bellingham and this double something, it's not working. Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible. But shout out to Dominic Szoboszlai. What an absolute rocket of a goal. I have a couple of questions.
But he's sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Just about that guy, Dominic Szoboszlai.
Yes.
Every time you see a highlight package of him and a reel of him, he's scoring the most amazing goals.
Yep.
Like left foot, right foot, and they're all 20 yards plus.
Mm-hmm.
But when you actually watch a full 90 minutes of him, I just don't think he imposes himself, in my opinion. What's your thought on him? Because if you see his goals, you think, whoa, this guy. And his technique, like today's technique was just, I can't explain it.
He's got that Bruno Fernandes about him. That's what it is.
Yeah. A little bit, yeah. He he doesn't implement himself in the games. I realize that as well. When I watch him also for Hungary, he's the star man for Hungary. He takes all the free kicks, he takes all the corners, he's taken all the long shots, but I just don't think his link-up play is the greatest. He doesn't want to run the show. He kind of want to be that guy at the right spot at the right time, but doesn't want to implement himself on the biggest occasion. That's what I feel like with Dominic Szoboszlai. Very talented footballer, and he obviously had an ACL tear, I think 2 seasons ago, which has kind of hampered his career a little bit, but yeah, he should be fine by now. But yeah, I kind of agree with you, Grizz. Very talented footballer, but I just feel like maybe just too hesitant in some games.
No, that's fair enough. Exactly. I mean, I think when I say big move, I mean moving to Leipzig is quite big anyway. It's a very decent sized move now. The next move will be crucial, right, guys, in his career. Don't you feel?
I wonder where
it's make or break. Shall I tell you who reminds me of at the moment? And don't kill me on this, but at the moment he reminds me of the Hakan Çalhanoğlu.
Yeah, Çalhanoğlu, yeah.
In terms of technique of striking a ball is elite, but when you watch him in gameplay, I admit Szoboszlai has a bit more power with the ball, driving with the ball. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. When you see a highlights reel of that guy, yet he's still mid-Europe level player. He hasn't reached the
Çalhanoğlu's all-round game isn't great. That's what it is. But his shooting can save him. His deliveries at times. That's why if you can get a player like Çalhanoğlu on a free transfer, you take it because he can offer you something on set pieces, whatever. But I think Szoboszlai has got that extra ceiling. He can carry the ball. He can get shots from range, but it's just his overall package. But I think Leipzig's perfect for him. I think Leipzig's the kind of club where you look at the Nkunkus, the Dani Olmos, all of these kind of guys who, technically are very good. They want to play good football. That's the kind of club where he can harness his ability.
But now they've got Timo Werner, so all that technical
that guy, does he not understand the offside rule? This guy might be the dumbest footballer on earth. I'm being honest. Deadly. He's so quick. Why are you always offside? But yeah, that's another point for another day. But that guy, I prefer not to speak.
Szoboszlai, guys, if you was to pick a team for him for next, because obviously he'll get snapped up sooner rather than later. Michael, you're a Liverpool fan, right?
Yep.
Would you take him at Liverpool, for example?
I don't think I would. I think a team like an Inter would be a good, match for him. I feel like an Inter would be good. I don't think he's... Can he equate his game into the Premier League? I don't think so. I would say maybe he could go to mid-table in the Premier League, but I don't think he can come to Liverpool and start, in my opinion.
Wow. Not that you guys are mid-table, Bilal, but would you guys, for example...
He was linked to us before he went to Leipzig. If this is before Smith Rowe broke into the team, so he was linked heavily. But obviously, he chose to go to Leipzig in the end, and his move, didn't come to Arsenal. I don't know. I feel like Arsenal maybe moved past this kind of level of player,
levels now. Suddenly levels now. Okay.
Back to normality, please.
Okay.
Give me normal players. Jesus level. Bring me them kind of players. But Szoboszlai is good. I don't know. It's interesting. A Leicester or something would be great for him. Imagine him, Maddison.
He's above. He's above.
Imagine it. Leicester. Well, if they have a little resurgence, you never know.
What about Newcastle?
Or Newcastle. Yeah, Newcastle. Maybe that's the one. Exactly. Paqueta went to West Ham. Paqueta's levels above Szoboszlai. So imagine Szoboszlai going to Newcastle, and if they can't get Maddison, maybe that's something to look at.
Michael,
I don't think he'll come to England.
Yeah. Michael probably want to speak about his own topics, but someone wants to say, Sultan says, Michael, tell them about Mo Kudus from Ajax. Like I already said to Grizz, Kudus is one to watch. Just before you go on, trust me, I know about Kudus. He's a big player. But Michael, tell me about him because Sultana said you have to tell me about him.
Oh, man. The Alfred Schroeder, obviously the Ajax manager, just started him in the last 2 games at the false 9 role. 3 goals and I think 1 assist. And he's absolutely running the show with his movement. This guy is such a technically gifted player. I absolutely love Kudus. Now he's finally get the fair shout of starting in the Ajax lineup because he hasn't been able to in the last 2 to 3 seasons. Had a long-term injury. I think he had a broken rib, if I'm not mistaken. This guy is so good. I think he's just off-ball movement. The way he's able to drive with the ball. Kudus is going to be a special player. And I think him at the false 9 against Liverpool on Tuesday, that's going to be trouble for us. That's going to be big trouble. And I think now he's getting a fair shout starting over Brian Brobbey for Ajax. So Watch out for him on Tuesday, Grizz. It might be trouble. I can't believe he almost went to Everton. I was thinking to myself,
he wanted to leave as well.
Oh, don't go to Everton. Yeah, he actually, I think, gave a transfer request, and I'm like, thank God he didn't go to Everton, because I think that would have really stalled his career.
Put him back, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him. I've seen him quite a few times now because people have started talking about him more and more. I can't say I was one of those early spots of him. He's not one of the guys that I spotted early, so I'm going to admit that I only started watching him when people started speaking about him. Mm-hmm. But his goal the other day, guys,
against
I don't know, Bilal, if you saw it. Wow.
Yeah, beautiful.
I mean, if you just slow that down and watch it again and again, and you see the level of technique involved, the level of balance involved, the level of power involved, the level of speed involved, you put that all together, and not every player can do that. Even if you're a good player, a great player, you need to put that all in a package. There's so much more to come. That's when you see a player like that, and if he gets under the right coach in the right environment, this good guy could go levels and levels. And that's what stood out for me. I mean, obviously Michael and was it Sultana in the chat obviously has seen him far more. Bilal, I don't know how much you've seen on him, but I think this guy's got the world at his feet.
Yeah, I'm excited about him because of Ghana in the World Cup. So I'm hoping he picks up this form. I hope Nketiah. I don't know. Nketiah seems to be holding off on this move to Ghana, as in like to.
Well, they got Inaki Williams.
Yeah, Inaki Williams is there now.
Yep.
So attacking wise, Ghana recently have not looked good. So hopefully these players can come in, and in the World Cup, Ghana versus Uruguay, I'm there, and I'm hoping to see some revenge happening. So yeah, I hope Kudus continues this form, and Inaki and hopefully Nketiah joins up, and we can have an interesting World Cup as well, because this kid, he's been talked about for many years now, but as you keep saying, the injuries, stop-start, wanting to leave Ajax. Now he's finally getting his chance after all these departures pretty much at Hala, Anthony, the spaces now for him to get some opportunities. So let's see what happens. Liverpool versus Ajax, though, it's going to be so interesting. I wonder how that's going to go, guys. But Champions League nights, Anfield, you never back against Liverpool pretty much. That's special.
Before Michael actually speaks about what he wanted to speak about, sorry, Michael, we kind of started asking you questions. There's over 250 of you guys in here. We're about 10-15 short of 200 likes, which is quite a good ratio if you just happen to smash those 10 likes, and then we're good to go. Michael, go for it. The floor is yours. What would you like to speak about?
I was actually going to, because you guys talked about psychology in football, and actually that made me think about Bilal and the team that he's going to face in the Europa League, Bodo Glimt. They actually did a funny thing a couple of years ago, Bodo Glimt, obviously a very small town in Norway, playing in the second division. They hired a former Norwegian Air Force pilot to be their psychologist, and now he's mentally prepared them for the big games. And now they're beating AS Roma, they're drawing with PSV. So that shows the vital part of psychology in footballers, because these guys, most of them were second division Norwegian footballers. Now they're outplaying Roma, they're outplaying all these big European sides. So I think that's a good point to make about psychology in the future for football. I think it's a very vital point, especially for these mid-table sides, maybe in the Premier League, Serie A or La Liga, that if they want to raise the bar, maybe they don't have to spend the money, but just backroom staff is always important. But my question
is... Tell us a bit more about Bodo Glimt. This is quite
manager's linked with the Brighton move as well. So.
Yeah, Kilter Knudsen, fantastic manager. Absolutely fantastic.
I mean, give us some more insight into this team and the rise of it last few years, because it's making quite the headline. And Arsenal fans probably thinking, Bodo Glimt from Norway, we smashed them, but it's going to be a bit tricky.
Oh yes, fun. So Bodo Glimt are a side that did nothing for the first, I think, 100 years of their footballing history. 2017, 2018, then they get promoted to the Norwegian First Division Eliteserien. 2019, they won the Eliteserien for the very first time. They broke every record: most wins, most goals scored, most home wins, most away wins, and they got the most points in their first ever title winning season. Unbelievable. Then they qualified to Europe, and this is a side that they have made a profit, I think, of over 20 million in the last 3 seasons, just selling their best players and keep going. And what do? They recruit smartly in the second division of Norway, plug them into their system, and they keep getting on better and better. And then last season, obviously, was a miracle for them, beating AS Roma 6-1 and making it to the quarterfinals of the Conference League. So now they're in the Europa League. They got a draw against PSV, a game they should have won. They had a fantastic opportunity at the end. And take a look out for this guy called Pellegrino, Bilal, and Grönbeek. These two guys, they're ballers. They're serious ballers. So I think Bodo Glimt, you know what? I think they can beat Arsenal at home. One, it's artificial turf.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Two, it's gonna be freaking cold. Like you think it's gonna be cold? It's gonna be cold. So I would be worried if I was Arsenal, but they should obviously beat them. Actually, my question for Grizz is because I'm actually going to my first ever European away game next week. What's been your best European away experience?
What a bloody good question. What a bloody
Champions
good
League
question.
final, no?
I don't know. Definitely not.
Think so.
Yeah.
Not just the game.
Yeah, that was tough. And unfortunately, I wasn't at both the finals I've been to. We've lost, so I'm not going into any more finals again. The one we won, I wasn't there. That's a great question, man. That's a great question. You know what? Mine's old. You know, BILAL was definitely too young for it. I went to Celtic away when Steve McManaman scored. People don't know about Steve McManaman, man. People need to go and check out.
I watched a video the other day.
Baller.
Alex Ferguson did a whole I was watching some old clip, and he's done a whole team meeting just about McManaman and saying, "Listen, we've got to stop him. He's gonna do this." Da da da.
Listen, everyone talks about Laudrup, innit?
Yeah.
And the way he dribbled, without any dragovers, without any FIFA skills. Yeah, you know how Laudrup was a natural dribbler.
Yeah.
A natural dribbler that knows 2-footed, in and out. You know those cone type dribbling where you see players practicing cone dribbling, right? McManaman was this, people. Honestly, you look at him and you think, skinny little, like Flacco, like skinny like Fabinho, curly hair. Do you know what I mean? Just waving his arms, skinny everywhere, and not blessed with physical power, not blessed with crazy speed. But guys, there's a reason why Real Madrid snapped him up and then turned him into a playmaking central midfielder that won the Champions League. In that famous Zidane goal against Leverkusen, man of the match, one of the men of the match was Steve McManaman in that run. He ran things from midfield. He was so intelligent. So yeah,
against,
that goal
against a young Ballack as well. He was in the
Michael
Leverkusen team.
Ballack, yeah. There was a Turkish player as well who was so good. Growing up, my mind's gone blank now, man.
Leverkusen always that Neely club. Yeah,
Leverkusen bad boy. But that was the atmosphere in that game, guys. We talk about Liverpool, and it's good you asked away atmosphere because that atmosphere. Bastek, that's the name. Bastek, yeah, what a player he was. When he picked up, you know what? It was like the goal against, where Sadio Mane picked it up against Arsenal in his debut.
Oh yeah,
right. So, and it was even a little bit further back, right? But where Sadio Mane cut inside and then blast into the top corner, Mane's was just slalom and then cool finish there. McManaman's. So yeah, that was the atmosphere was fantastic. That's why I know the Rangers atmosphere.
That's gonna be hostile.
It's going to be lethal atmosphere. But yeah, man, that was
Don't go to that one.
game.
Don't go to that one.
No, I'm staying home.
Stay home for that one.
Cup of tea, you know what I mean? Cover the blinds, you know what I mean? That's me at home, man. Relax, Post-match carnage, you know what I mean? On the screen as opposed to post-match carnage, possibly in this. Nah.
Proper carnage.
Forget real carnage. Forget that. I ain't built like that anymore. But Michael, which game you going to?
I'm going to AS Roma against my Finnish team, HJK. My first ever European away game.
Helsinki, right?
Yep, Helsinki. Yep. Cannot wait.
What? So these guys are they similar to Bodo Glimt? How have they managed?
We're similar to Bodo Glimt, but Bodo Glimt are way better than us. I'm just going for the occasion. Going to the Stadio Olimpico, one of the most famous stadiums in football, and then going to Rome. I mean,
you can't go wrong.
Kill two birds with one stone. So there we go. I'm bringing my friend. He's never been to Italy either, so it's gonna be a fantastic trip. And I mean, look, I'm expecting us to lose 5-0, but it's a part of the experience.
Michael, remind me and tell me what happened. I remember you on a call-in show a couple of months ago, and you was gonna go to the preseason friendly. What happened?
The preseason friendly. Oh, I went to the Super Cup. Yeah, I went to the Real Madrid Frankfurt game. Yeah, that was fantastic.
No. You was expecting Liverpool to.
Yeah, I was expecting Liverpool to make it to the Super Cup. I mean, and they lost in the Champions League final.
That's what it was. I'm so sorry. Yes, he was hoping that they. Oh, of course, I get it now. Oh,
I went to the game anyways. I mean, Modric in real life, absolute baller. Absolute baller. The movement off the ball and the way he's able to read the game. Modric is one of the best midfielders ever. And just seeing him once in real life, Oh, it was a pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Modric is so true, man. Some players you appreciate the latter they get in their lives and stage of their careers, right? Sometimes you don't appreciate them when they're 28, 29. In amongst the hurly-burly of the Premier League, and you think, yeah, okay, he's getting a bit bullied off the ball, but then you realize he's playing alongside, I don't know, and being managed by Tim Sherwood or probably something, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, all right? So you don't appreciate the levels of purity in their game until a manager like Zidane sees it, or someone sees it, right? And then you say, okay, if a man like Zidane sees this and sees some of the talent he's got in him, like comparable to his talent, then you know, yeah, real recognizes real, right? We say that for a reason. Luka Modric, man, Bilal. I mean, this
already said he's better than Iniesta to me, man. I already said I love Iniesta, but yeah.
See, this ranking gets a bit, it's subjective, right?
Individual-wise. No, I'm talking about trios in terms of the Barcelona midfield. For me, number one. The Busquets, Xavi, Iniesta will always be number one. But Modric, like, if you're just doing that in comparison, it's a Modric for me, and that's, it's even madder to think when he went to Real Madrid, they called him a flop, all sorts. You know, Ozil came to Arsenal. There was a lot of clamor. Why are you selling Ozil? You got this Modric guy. Who is he? He's not going to do anything. And now look. No one. How many years later? No one can say nothing. He's a
37,
top player.
like Michael said, 37. Yeah. And you know what? There's no like normally, like bring it back to Liverpool. Like you can see signs of Hendo slowing down. You can see signs of Thiago slowing down. You can see signs of Fabinho, goddammit, slowing down. Right? You know, like Modric, there's no sign of him though.
Yeah,
he's sustaining that level. Like the other day, you see him. What game was it, guys? Celtic. And it's like he switched just when you think second half, the pressure he's been under, blah, 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 blah. He just suddenly thought, let me raise the tempo in this game.
That's the mad thing, because at his age, to be able to do that is so crazy. And I can make a great point. You know, when you see someone live, you get that even better perspective on them. So you've seen Modric now, and you've really seen him. I remember that's the same feeling I had when I saw Xabi Alonso live, and I'm like, this guy's even better than I thought. This guy is like a magician, got everyone on strings. And Modric, yeah, I just have to big him up even more.
Who's the best player? Who's the best player you've seen live, Bilal? Be subjective. Be objective. Sorry.
No, if I say, I'll say my guy Mesut Ozil. I'll say my guy Mesut Ozil.
Fair enough.
That's my guy. So,
fair enough. No, look. Don't get twisted. I'm a massive fan of Mesut Ozil.
Live, like when I've seen as peak, Ozil for me was ridiculous. But yeah, but I don't know. In terms of Lewandowski, he was another great player that I've seen. Aguero, Yaya Toure was another one. David Silva. I don't know. There's too many players I've seen live, but
you got to choose one.
I pick Ozil just because when he
okay. I'm going to minus Ozil from the equation because Arsenal fan.
Okay, without Ozil, I don't know.
Those players that
Xabi Alonso always sticks in my head. That the performance I've seen him play live was insane.
Fair enough.
But Yaya's up there as well, 100%. So I don't know. It's tough. There's too many good players.
Michael, I'm hoping you can pick one because Bilal was bottled.
I have an easy choice, and that's called Lionel Messi. Scored a hat trick when I went to go see him play live. Unbelievable.
Game over.
Game over.
You win. I was gonna go Barcelona, Arsenal, but I couldn't be bothered, man.
Best Liverpool player I've seen live is Fernando Torres. When he scored 2 goals against Chelsea, was it the 10-11 season? I believe so. When we were terrible, he scored 2 goals. I was like, oh, Fernando, please stay. And well, you know what happened? He didn't stay anymore. I have one final question, Grizz. What do you make of this Naby Keita situation? Because I don't want to talk about Liverpool in general. I just want to talk about Naby Keita because I'm so confused at what's going on. Injured. We don't know how long the injury is. He's selected to the Guinea national team. Contract, no discussion. Now we're seeing contract that there might be a discussion for an extension. I don't know what to make of Naby Keita. For me personally, like obviously everybody's gonna have their own opinion. I would let him go. I don't think he's proven himself at Liverpool anymore. Clearly he's injury prone. If you look at the injury record of him at Liverpool, it's just not good enough. And if we're gonna keep signing these injury prone players, the same mess is gonna recur again at Liverpool in the midfield. So I don't know what's your thoughts of Naby Keita. I mean, have you heard anything? Because I can't understand how he's selected for Guinea. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
That's such a Tough question, Michael, man. You're so cruel.
I got to bring the
for
tough
asking
questions.
that. Yeah, you're so cruel for asking me that. Man, I was asking you nice questions about favorite players, favorite grounds, atmospheres, and then you just hit me with a sledgehammer. I tweeted something about Naby Keita a couple of weeks back. And it turned out to be a bit of a controversial tweet because you know how people start thinking or people start accusing you of scaremongering. So people start saying, oh, you're just doing this so certain players get a backlash for no reason. 2 weeks later, all these news is coming out of Naby Keita. And so therefore, people are saying, okay, some people are saying Grizz kind of hinted at this because I'm not obliged to say exactly what I've heard. And it may not be true. So I don't want to put it out there as fact. I want to put it out there as my opinion, right? So you're allowed to do that, right? You're allowed to put your opinion out. I'm not a journalist. I'm not going to write an article on as a matter of fact. I'm going to put out my opinion. My opinion is that Jurgen Klopp isn't happy with Naby Keita. In my opinion, Jurgen Klopp, and this is what I said in the tweet, Jurgen Klopp, if he's loyal to you, he expects 100% loyalty back because he backs you through all thick and thin in terms of fighting for your contract, fighting for your status at the club, fighting for everything about you. And if Jurgen Klopp feels as though you're not committed enough to sign that deal, play with slight injuries, etc., I think Jurgen Klopp gets angry with you. I'm just giving my opinion before people start, if there's certain people that are going to start clipping this up. So I'm giving my opinion as opposed to the facts because I don't claim to know the facts. And I think Jurgen Klopp is very unhappy with him. Naby Keita does have an injury, but I don't think it's as severe as not being selected for the squad for the remainder of the Champions League group stages. That's all I'm going to say. He was offered a deal. I said he's been offered a deal about 3 weeks before the journalists then came out with it that he's been offered a deal. I also said he's refused the deal. And then obviously the local journalists have said he's refused the deal. There's talks going on. I was told that we are still hoping. This was before the injury situation occurred. Okay. I was told we are hopeful of agreeing to do because Naby doesn't want to leave Liverpool, by the way. Okay. From what I understand, Naby doesn't want to leave, but Naby wants more assurances. The money hasn't been improved, if at all, not much.
Why should
the new terms?
Isn't done much?
This is the debate. I'm not sure the top of my head,
okay.
but
yeah, somebody will let us know.
Exactly, but these are the kind of things that we're up for debate. Does he A, deserve a new contract? Does he deserve a more lucrative contract? Or like Michael says, cut your losses. I change my mind about Naby Keita every fortnight. So I don't know if you're asking me right now, I'm done with Naby. But if you ask me at the start of the season, I wanted a continuation of Naby because last season was probably his best. This is the situation of Naby. The last I heard before the injury situation was we're hoping that the fact that he doesn't want to leave will enable us to agree with him to stay. Yeah. But I don't think that's going to happen now. I think it's very difficult with the relationship-wise and the loyalty factor because people forget, like Gini, Klopp felt a bit betrayed, man. People don't want to go back to my tweets and whatever. I said Gini's been offered a contract, but he refused it. And then Klopp didn't give his go-ahead for a new contract to be offered to him. And Jurgen's big like that. Jurgen's powerful like that. No. Jurgen done the same thing with Henderson. He said, what? No, Henderson, he's staying. I don't give a shit. Whether it's the wrong or the right decision, we can debate. Yeah, I disagree that Henderson should have been given that longer contract. I disagree. Milner should have been given another contract. But the point I'm trying to make is Jurgen Klopp is powerful enough to do that, I believe. And with Naby Keita, even though he wants to stay, he doesn't want to leave Liverpool. He actually likes it at Liverpool. He wants to stay. He's settled. But he just doesn't feel, I don't know what the word is, assurances, loved or appreciated or whatever you want to say.
You have to think about it, Grizz. This is going to be probably his biggest contract that he will get in his career.
Yeah,
he's entering his prime years.
Prime,
so
to speak. This is
prime.
so to speak. This is prime. So that's my opinion on it. What do you guys think on it?
Go ahead, Bilal.
Yeah, listen, for me, just cut ties with Naby Keita. I don't see what he's really done for Liverpool in his time that warrants him even trying to have a bit of a power move and power play with the club and with Klopp in particular. I don't see how. I know he's a player and he wants his big contract, blah, blah, blah. Just don't think it's worth the trouble. Just get rid of him. You guys are looking at replacements. Bellingham, for me, is a name Liverpool fans keep talking about, but I don't know, man. 100 million, I'm not sure if that's worth the money, man. I'm not going to lie, he's a good player, a lot of talent, but 100 million, man, you need someone, I don't know, really ready to be made. Bellingham's still developing, so I don't know on that front what Liverpool are going to do. Maybe even need 2 or 3 midfielders at this point for next season. So yeah, I don't think you can be wasting 100 million on that front. But with Keita, as I said, yeah, he's in the dungeon here. Keep him there, and just wait until he leaves. Is his contract expiring this summer?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is why it's a very awkward one.
Yeah.
See, I tweeted, it's not good for team morale and Jurgen Klopp being asked every week awkward questions.
Exactly.
And look, some people went for me and said, "Oh, Grizz is just creating agendas." I don't really want to create agendas against players that I love, man, and represent Liverpool, and everyone that supports Liverpool represents Liverpool. I love pretty much, apart from Adrian. I just can't do it. Call me whatever you want. I can't do it. I can't love the guy. But everyone else I love, man. Why would I slander anyone? I love Millie. I love Gomez. I love Trent. I love Henderson. I love Naby. I love all of them, man. They're my boys. They're my team. So I'm just giving an opinion on from what I know, and it kind of comes out true every time I hear it a few weeks later. But let's see. Hopefully they patch up the differences and his injury as well. Hopefully it patches up his injury.
So we don't know how long this injury is for.
No.
Indefinite.
I haven't heard.
Injury? Is it a muscle injury?
That's what they've said. I don't know, Michael. I don't know. So
if you go
exactly, if you go according to what Klopp says, it's a muscle injury. If you go according to the Guinea management, it's a hamstring injury, which will hopefully, according to them, and obviously, if it's according to them, he's been telling them, or someone from his camp has told them, that it should be another couple of weeks.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense with what Klopp has said. So time will tell. That's all I can say. Time will tell.
It is a weird situation, so hopefully it just gets sorted out for both the club and for Naby Keita.
It's an awkward situation because it makes,
very awkward.
If he comes back, guys, before the group stages are ended and he's not in the squad, how fishy is that going to look for Klopp? He's going to look like a dickhead. Klopp's going to look like a dickhead. Liverpool going to look like dickheds.
Yeah.
So I kind of just hope he is injured and he doesn't come back. But obviously I don't, because he's needed. Do you know what I mean? It makes the whole thing awkward and messy.
You do need him probably in this. You like him. I don't know. I guess he's got
like
a lot
him
of
as a
fans.
player,
You guys
but
have a lot
he's
of patience for him. I would have lost my patience with him a long time.
I've lost patience with him. I will always back Naby, but I can't deny these injuries are ridiculous. The amount of injuries he has suffered. And his play at times, it hasn't been there. To the player where he was at RB Leipzig, God, that guy was such a baller at Leipzig. And then just the injuries and just the performances have gone down and just hasn't been... 50 million we paid for him.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. You even waited 1 year. You waited 1 year for him as well. So like, it was that big player that was going to come the next season. I don't feel like he's lived up to the hype. And because Liverpool have done so well, luckily that hasn't really been highlighted by the media and other things about this guy. Because if you're not performing well, like let's say Arsenal, and you got Pepe just running around and he's not doing anything for 72 million, then it becomes a problem. But yeah, I don't know. With this Keita situation, it's so weird. Maybe in January, get rid of him.
How long did Pepe last? 2 seasons, was it?
2, yeah, it must have 2 or 3 maybe.
Didn't he come with Emery?
He's only on loan now as well, so he's going to come back probably.
Didn't Emery sign him?
Yeah, it was a Sanyehi, this a guy from Barcelona. So I don't let Barcelona directors into your club, man. They start doing funny deals. So
look, this is the awkward situation. Like, we get praised for the amount of great recruitment and business we do, but as Mark says, we can't throw away 60 million investment in Naby. And like Oxy will stay until his contract runs down and make the odd cameo. We can only sell him if he plays well in the shop window. So it's a catch-22.
You're not going to get the 60 million back, though.
Oh, no chance. Forget it.
Max we would get is probably 15 million. Because if we have to sell him in January with 6 months left on his contract, that's probably the best we can get.
Yeah, so even 15 million, that's even... Yeah, if you're lucky to get 10 probably.
10 to 15
would be like...
I mean,
15,
Ox
you
is going
take
to go
that
for
and you
free.
run.
Ox is going to go for free, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Ox, the highest bid we got for Ox, guys, was 7 million in the summer. And so people are saying, sell him. But we just didn't think it's worth selling for 7 million when he can be used, or we were hoping he can be used as an attacker and a midfielder. So Klopp said, no, I'll fucking keep him and let him go for free. But then he fucking got injured, so we can't even use him. So we lost out on the 7 million. We lost out on a place in the squad, and we lost out on Ox, the player. Sometimes shit happens and you can't explain it. Sometimes shit happens and then you think, and then we lost Ox, and then we lost Thiago on the first opening day of the season, and then we lost Naby, and then we lost Jota from Portugal in the Nations Cup. Then we lost Khanage in a preseason friendly that we arranged just for random training purposes on the weekend before the game. And then we lost Matip a couple of weeks back. And then we lost Henderson. These are excuses. Of course, people like BILAL and other club fans will say...
No. For me, it's not an excuse. Because as an Arsenal fan, I've seen my club go through these injuries countless times. For me, it's something that's so real. And it literally is affecting your squads. How are you going to have the same level of performances all the time when you have so many people missing? I don't know. You know, with the Chamberlain thing as well, even when you guys signed him all them years ago, I was surprised people were willing to pay that much money for him. I know he kind of worked the first few years, but even his injury record then was terrible.
You've got a point, BILAL. At the time, I 100% thought the price was about 10, 15 million too much. But I really rated Ox. At the time, I thought he's going to be perfect for us. I so wanted it to happen. But I knew we were overpaying. But I'm not one of these guys, and many are. I don't give a shit how much a player costs. I want good players at my club. I don't care if it's 100 million. I don't care if it's 5 million. Like, I've been excited about Carvalho more than Nunes, and it's pretty obvious. Like, if you watch any of my shows that I'm on, I've spoken about Carvalho more than Nunes. I said I don't give a shit about the price tag. I think Carvalho is the one for me. Similarly, I knew Ox was overpriced. I knew we're overpaying him, but I was excited, and it was justified because, as you said, we see Ox smashing goals in against Man City. We're thinking, no one mentioned the price at that stage.
He was doing that.
No one mentioned price. But then he becomes injured again and again and again, and you think to yourself, 40 million. And then Naby Keita, 50 million, waiting for a season.
Yeah, he was fantastic in that Champions League season, 17-18. And then was it the Roma game? He got the ACL injury. I believe so.
Horrible
He was so
injury,
good.
man.
He was so good in that later stages of that season. And then just the injury, and I think it ruined his Premier League, Liverpool career after that match.
Yeah, he can't get back, man. You can't. But this is why, and we're going to do a show tomorrow, guys. Don't forget to check out RedFellas 9 p.m. tomorrow. We're going to look at certain players and sort of their futures, maybe. Some people may say it's overreaction, but there needs to be uncomfortable conversations. Joe Gomez, similar injury to Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Joe Gomez, will he ever reach those levels that he reached? For me, Joe Gomez was one of the best centre-backs in world football when he reached that level with Virgil van Dijk before his injury. But that injury, I've been told, is one of the worst injuries a footballer can get. It's one of the worst injuries.
Did Gomez get an ACL as well?
Yeah, man.
Bad.
Bad.
We have Van Dijk, Gomez, Ox, all ACL tears. Anybody else on the team? I'm trying to think. I think that's it.
Not the top of my head.
I think Nunes has had one. I think Darwin Nunes has had one as well, actually.
Yeah, Darwin's had one before he joined, yeah.
Gazino says, Joe Gomez question, stop it, Grizz. What do you want me to stop? Do you want me to
It's okay, you can...
Do you want me to stop asking uncomfortable conversations, or do you want me to stop bigging him up, or do you want me to stop criticizing him, or do you want me to... I don't know, because if you know, Gazino, if you follow me on Twitter or any other platforms, I was praising Joe Gomez's performances since his comeback. I done a poll because people were saying, what are you seeing about Joe Gomez? He's been trash. And I was like, shit, really? I haven't seen Joe Gomez being trash. Like, he was good. Gazino, in that season, bro, find me a centre-back, a young centre-back, I said, because you got to remember he was about 23 at the time. Find me under 23 centre-back as good as Joe Gomez in that season. Was it 2018-19, Michael?
Yeah, I think it was 2018-19, yeah.
Yeah, come back to me, brother. So I done a poll for Joe Gomez and feel like maybe I'm wrong then. because like it is what it is, and it's opinions. If the majority of the opinions say something, depending on the sample size of opinion, then you can basically say, okay, maybe I'm seeing something different. Because I thought Joe Gomez hasn't been trash. I thought he's been one of our better performances before Napoli. Before Napoli, people.
That Napoli performance was one of the worst center-back performances I've ever seen. I have to be honest.
It was horrific. It was horrific. But before then, I thought he's been better than Trent. I thought he's been better than Virgil. I think he's been better than Robertson. I thought he's been one of the only shining lights. I wouldn't even call it shining, but lights, you know. And I done a poll and it got like 13,000 votes, and 66% said yes, they agreed with me. So I breathed a sigh of relief. Like, I'm not seeing something only on my own. Like 66% of 13,000 is quite a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? And 33% said no, he's been awful, the worst player, whatever. But that's objective, it's subjective. That's what it is, man, opinions. 1920 people are saying no, okay. Yeah, see, Zeno says, okay, fair enough, when he listens, you know, before he starts jumping on my neck for no reason, man. No, I'm joking, bro. But yeah, Michael, anything else before we keep the...
No, I'll let you guys, and I'll let the next guest come on. Thanks for having me on, and hopefully have a good European away experience. I've always wanted to do one. I was hoping to do it for Liverpool, but those
keep hope alive, brother. Keep hope alive. Listen, it's always been a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on, man. Hope to speak to you soon, my friend.
Yep, you as well.
Take care. Look after yourself.
Yeah, big up.
Okay, guys. Yeah, man. Great caller.
Yeah.
What's this to dimming lights? What does that mean?
Where's that?
To?
No idea.
Okay, but yeah, Mark Sanders, we need that Barca midfield of Thiago and Melo to click fast, and Fabinho needed a break. Let's hope we can come back fresh. The potential is there if we manage them better than we are doing right now. Yeah, man, I'm tired of Liverpool right now, man. They're making me tired, man. Bilal, I'm not gonna lie. Where you are, like, looking forward to every single weekend right now, right? You must be thinking, fuck, this comes such a bad time for you, right?
Kind of, but at the same time, I was looking at it. I said, Thomas Partey's injured, Smith Rowe was injured, so I said, give them a little few weeks off, and then maybe we go into that Tottenham game with a full strength team. And then the Brazil news came out without the Brazilian boys being selected. I said, okay, good news again on the Arsenal front.
Yeah.
So, for me, I'm thinking like this could be like a little pre-season-ish with just a Europa League games and just PSV. You can even go full strength against PSV, pretty much. And use that as a game to just keep a bit your fitness up, and then have a bit of a break. Then international break, come back, everyone's hopefully fit, and you move. But I don't know how they're going to fit these games in after. No idea. But
no, exactly. Leave them to it, man. Leave them to it. People, with 211 likes in, we are so close to 250. There's 260 people in there. Even my maths tells me that's available. That's up there. We can get there.
We can definitely do that, guys. Come on.
You know, we can do that. Do you know what I mean? Even my maths tells me that. Tayo says, is the Ajax game on? Yes, brother. The Ajax game is on 100%. Quasi is the next caller in. We've got about 5 people waiting, guys. Probably time for another one. After Quasi is going to be Michael, and then I'm going to assess from there. Let's add Quasi to the building. Quasi, my friend, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing, Bilal? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, bro. How you doing?
Good, man. I'm glad you guys are saying things that I like. You know, the Kudus kid, you know, from Ghana. You know, how Ghana is looking very palatable right now. What's the name? Lamptey just, you know, being approved by FIFA now. So
yeah,
he has switched. So
so Tariq Lamptey is representing Ghana?
Yes.
Oh, amazing. Okay. So who's the star? So who's the star men for Ghana right now, would you say, Quasi?
Thomas Partey. That's the main guy got them into the World Cup.
You have to get him ready. We can't go to World Cup without him. He's a big factor in the team.
So is he the captain?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the captains, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Andre Ayew is always there, just moving man. I love that guy, honestly. That guy's too funny, man.
We have, because we also hearing that, you know, Baby Jet, aka Asamoah Gyan, wants to be the. He wants to be the Roger Miller. I'm training. I'm working hard. Please put me in. I have a revenge against.
Who? Sorry.
Asamoah Gyan.
Against Uruguay. He wants to come out. He wants to do the Roger Miller role. Yeah.
You know, we got
These people, man. Come on. And you know he's going to get there. He's going to have powerful people in the Ghanaian football.
I hope not, because that's what always affects.
He's finished. Yeah, you need the young breeds, man. You need the young bloods.
Let the kids. And the funny thing is, he should know better, because the Ghana team that started going to the World Cup was because we stopped doing that type of foolishness. And that's what got him into the World Cup.
Inaki Williams too?
Yes.
He switched.
Yeah, he switched. And his brother might switch. I think they're still working on it.
I think it's gonna look good because of their coach as well. He was at Borussia Dortmund. I thought Houghton was gonna be the coach, but I don't know, I guess he's just advising or something.
He's one of those respectable people. Like, even if you have a hard head like Muntari, they will respect him. So he's. I mean, even when they brought in what's his name from Brighton, former coach from Brighton, Chris Houghton didn't even want to take over. He said, "I'll just sit back."
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, they're working very well. And the crazy thing is, 2010, if Ghana has taken these two players, we would have probably winning this World Cup. One is Manchester United Welbeck, not the Arsenal one, the Manchester United one, and then Balotelli. And they both chose not to play for Ghana.
Yeah, I remember Welbeck was getting booed, man, at the England-Ghana game at Wembley.
I booed him too. We'll sell out. We were like, dude, you have a chance to win a World Cup. He did not. Balotelli, we begged and begged and begged. Now you could tell he wishes he had switched.
That's why I hope Nketiah, man, just does it, because I've been reading a few things where he says, I think England are putting pressure on Nketiah to stay with England because he's an under-21 top goal scorer, blah, blah, blah. They would probably just want him there just in case one day they might need him. But for me, you go to Ghana now, you play with Inaki, Kudus, and you go and tear up the tournament, man. Honestly,
and he got 4 years. He could play another 4 years with this same core group.
Exactly.
Inaki's 27 years old, so he got another 4 years to go. Partey, same age, another 4 years. All these kids, Lamte, all these guys are between 20.
Salisu at the back. Like, the team's actually quite exciting. It's getting quite exciting.
So. They have a lot of energy, which is how the 2006 and the 2010 Ghana team did. The 2014 one, I don't know them. I don't think they're from Ghana. We just picked them up on the side of the street. And, that one was something else.
With that, that should be, but they've got by the sounds of it, they've got quite the squad now, or a young squad. Yeah. Just a bit of breaking news, guys, with regards to the Liverpool-Chelsea game next week. A lot of people asking, what's the situation with it? Well, the Athletic have just got a report out, and it says, I'll just read it out. Or in fact, let me try to find it. BILAL.
Yeah, I'm having a look. Right.
Okay, you see if you can find it now, the Athletic report. So it says police officers are likely to be redeployed at short notice to deal with the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. One potential solution under discussion is London clubs playing away from home next weekend instead of home. Switch it around.
I think it's impossible. I'm not going to lie, because I've been even reading about stuff with the Queen and like transporting her body and how many people that's going to involve, and the London, and even Arsenal's game is at Brentford. So how's that going to happen?
No, that's not going to happen. But what they're saying, so what they're saying is, for example, Liverpool are playing Chelsea, supposed to be playing at Chelsea. Maybe play Chelsea, Liverpool, Chelsea swap
Anfield.
So that is under discussion apparently. Let's see. Hold on, what they're saying. Liverpool could face Chelsea. Yeah. So it's one potential solution. Yeah. I don't know who's suggested that solution though. Sometimes it's just the journalist himself suggesting it. So we'll need a bit more clarification on that.
I think we should have played this weekend and then cancel all the games next weekend. Because personally, if you switch and Liverpool is at the very tight spot during the end of the season, and then we have to go to Stamford Bridge, that doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. Just cancel it.
It doesn't make sense. Exactly. They should have played this round of fixtures, and next week you just leave it, because next week's going to be the funeral. It's going to get even more crazy.
I don't know, but I seriously don't know how they're going to do this, guys.
Don't know if you guys can see that. Should be able to.
Yeah.
So it says, football at risk. Clubs unlikely to agree. says clubs already unlikely to agree
Oh,
on
go
worse
down,
fixtures.
keep going because we can't see the
Yeah.
text. Keep going.
Should I zoom out?
Yeah, that's good.
Zoom
That's
out.
good. No, that's perfect. So it says Premier League clubs are hopeful of returning to action next weekend, but there is the potential for disagreement over fixtures, where fixtures should be played. Why have you gone? You've gone too much, man.
It's a little. There you go. What is
Oh, no,
going? Okay, go on.
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's understood that games in the capital are a threat because of the safety concerns, while with police officers likely to be redeployed at short notice to help with the funeral. Again, while I read, but this idea is unlikely to prove popular with clubs who would have to host a new game at 1 week's notice, owing to the complications that come with staffing matches at short notice. Such a late change would have leave clubs facing the unprecedented challenge of staging an unplanned home game at 1 week's notice with very little time to find staff and sell tickets to home and away fans. Basically, it doesn't look likely. I think it suggests that it's not looking likely.
The other option is play the London games on the other side of the country without doing the swap. So Chelsea play in Birmingham or something. Sorry, I don't know the
yeah, no, I know what you mean, but again, it would be the logistics of organizing at short notice again would be the same.
And they're talking about the crowds now, how many people there's going to be. It just, I don't think it's feasible, to be honest. If they couldn't do this week for no reason, they should have played this week, really. Next week's going to be worse.
But next week's definitely going to be worse. Well, the London situation is impossible because of the need for the manpower to be at the funeral. So that's a no-go.
Yeah.
But in terms of, I don't know what they're going to do with Scottish football, with other cities' football. Is it going to go ahead? Because the funeral's Monday, right? So I don't know what they're going to do with the weekend games. I guess it's just let's see what they come out with and what they say. But if it gets cancelled, like it's looking very likely, guys, I don't know how they're going to play these games. I genuinely don't know where they're going to fit these games in with the World Cup as well.
The same behind closed doors, maybe. Somehow, just get it done.
TV money, they need their money. They need their pound of flesh.
Maybe then they have to, I don't know, is the International Week coming up? Maybe that needs to be scrapped.
I don't even know why we have International Week. That does not make sense. I would say they should have it maybe.
I don't know who has the more power in these kind of situations. We're going to have to wait to see which board has the most power to see if they can cancel that. Because
FIFA's not scrapping that, no way. Especially this close to World Cup.
Yeah,
like they'll be like, we need this international break to see the players and get ready. Otherwise, how are you going to prepare for the World Cup? It doesn't make sense.
Well,
the World Cup, unfortunately, it's the president. It's the most important thing. As much as we love the league,
you should have never had this break and then let them leave early rather than so close to the World Cup. You give them at least 2 weeks before the World Cup so they can properly. They're going to be fit already. This is not the summer one where they go on break and then they come back. This one, they're already fit. So you don't need a big gap for them to be prepared. All they need is a couple, preparation games just to get them to the World Cup. So they should have let them play all out till maybe a week or 10 days before the World Cup so they could put in at least 2 games before the World Cup. Because these players are already fit.
Yeah, I think it's a 2 week gap between the Premier League ending or the league's ending,
and
then the World Cup. So maybe they could have made it 1 week, but then again, they'll argue FIFA would even say that's gonna affect the quality of the tournament. Maybe they want the players to be rested, travel.
Is the EPL still having the February break?
Oh yeah, that's another good point. The winter break, they added it.
Yeah,
that's the thing. But it's not really a winter break. It's like half play 1 week, half play the other.
So they must just put all of them in there.
I thought this year the Carabao Cup should have got scrapped this year. To be honest, that's the one that should have went.
They could maybe something to do with that, but then how does?
It's a headache.
It's a mess. It's going to be a mess.
Everything play no more back and forth. As in the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, the 2 games thing. Take it out of the way and just play 1 game through it so that you could get it done.
Could you extend the season maybe and add another when the season ends and play them 2 games?
Is there any other tournaments going on in the summer?
Yeah,
I think.
Is there another tournament in the summer?
Was AFCON back this year?
Africa.
But January. Copa America's.
Copa America, I think, is coming in, and then the European Nations Cup then.
Yeah, listen. Good luck to
Someone
the.
saying they already extended the season.
Yeah, good.
Oh.
And we're still struggling. Okay, good luck to the Premier League.
It's gonna be, then that means the Champions League final has to be pushed back to a couple more weeks.
It's a mess, man. I don't know how they're gonna do this, man. But I guess we get more football. I guess if that's any consolation. I don't know as Liverpool fans if we want more football right now.
I didn't even watch any other European match. I wanted, if I'm not watching Liverpool, I didn't. All right, this thing has taken a third of my half-life already. So I needed a break, relax. On my side of the pond, we had a heat wave from like literally the Lucifer opened the gates of hell.
Yeah,
we were at 110, 117 for almost a week.
Wow.
So it's been horrible right now. But I wanted to talk about Liverpool real quick, if it's okay, brother Grizz. I listened to everything that, especially our brother Joshua made a very compelling argument, the brethren before Michael. All of this is boiling down to one person, Klopp. I know on this side, we say the buck stops with the person who owns the team, as the American term, which is true. But all of this situation boils back to Klopp. The players are not doing well and they're still in the club. Loyalty. We all discuss that all the time. The tactics going on. Who changed the tactics? You know, so my conspiracy theory is this. I believe when he signed a new contract, he kind of stepped on Pep's toes because he was getting Pep ready to possibly be one of the options to look at. You know, of course, people like Steve G, Nance Goodman, and all those people. By him signing the contract, that means he's extended the chance for Pep to be the number one. So he probably said, okay, I'll get you more money, and then I'll have you have more say in what goes on with the team. But at the end of the day, I'm the one who is the final head. Which, if you look at Alex Ferguson, that's what he did during his last 10 years, where he stepped back, brought in good number twos, where they focus on what goes on, and then his philosophy is the final product that we saw during the games. So, because now Pep is the one who said, we push Salah and Diaz to the line so that we could see Salah's dribbling abilities. Right?
It's not touched by winger. That's the biggest issue.
And get
inside forward.
Get a true winger and let him do that, right? This whole thing, underlapping thing, it's not working for me. You see what I'm saying? Let Trent do his thing on the outside. Let Salah operate in the middle. Now, when we have Nunes, I get it. Because of his runs, he will run into the wingers if they are too close to him. So I can see why. So the tactical things that's being changed, we need to. So Klopp coming back and saying, well, we have to reinvent myself. And as you eloquently said earlier, Grizz, he wants to go back to the point where, no, we're going back to the way I do things now. That's what I'm seeing, right? He might not even change the formation. It'll be 4-3-3, but it's going to go back to Trent going bombing on the outside, the middle 2-8, staying back a little bit more and making sure that the fullbacks are protected. And probably going to be the year that we were 1 point shy of City, where everybody was like, we play well, but literally we were a counter-attack, counter-pressing team. We sat back more and then hit you with that press, and then we hit you on the counter-attack. And that would be the best for us right now because we don't have the legs. I don't care how much months we get a break, it's not going to be enough. These guys need a proper rest, you know. And then if you look at where Klopp, you know how you love to play. You squeeze people out of everything. Why is your machine have oil engines that is not properly changed? You can't run Milner like that. You know that. You can't run Henderson like that. Henderson can't do that 8 anymore. Fabinho is struggling because the 2 number 8s are not as good as the one he used to. So now he has to step up more, which means the center backs are exposed. You know, VVD, this is not how he plays. So he's always one step behind. You know, he uses his defensive midfielders to help him defend. That's what makes him great because he reads the game. Every time he stops and he doesn't tackle because he's trying to get everybody to do what? To come in with it. That's why the guys like Paulo Maldini loves him so much, because they say this guy never goes to the ground. And what the rule is, if you go to the ground, you're already lost.
In trouble, yeah.
Trouble already. And that's what now he's doing, hence the 2 penalty kicks. He's rushing, trying to save what's going on. And yes, I think he's saving himself. Even if VVD saved himself 10% for the World Cup, he's still the best defender in the world because of his brain. The problem is the rest of the team are not in his level, so he's making it hard. Trent, somebody needs to bring him down to earth a little bit. He's feeling himself a little bit, and it has to do with something that's going on in training. I don't think it's on the field. Whatever is happening on the field is coming from training. So I believe that all that needs to be rectified by the club. And this is the last point I'll make. Let me see if you agree with this, Grizz. Klopp is a little bit too powerful in LFC right now. And personally, I think that's what maybe one of the reasons why Edward left. Because when first Edward said, this is who you get in, and people reluctantly agree with it. Number 1, Mane. Number 2, Salah, and a few others. Now, when he says no, everybody's like, hey, the man says no, so, we have to keep quiet.
Dictator settings.
Yeah, that's done that. We're not going to frustrate it. So I believe that FSG needs to come back down, maybe reshuffle some people, the people at the top, even Gordon or whoever, where people could be like, hey, Klopp, yeah, you have the power or whatever, but we need somebody to look you in the eye and say, no, we are going to bring these people. We are going to do this, because he's too loyal to a fault. And because he's so loyal to a fault, he would say, no, I'll keep this one. He'll get better. He'll get better. FSG will be like, okay, we'll save the money for next year. And then we got the case of Naby, and then the case of Ox, and in certain ways, the case of Gomez. Because honestly, any other team, Gomez would have been gone. Ox would have been gone. Possibly Naby would have been gone. And we need to get back to that. That's the only thing Pep has, this Guardiola that is, has over Klopp. If Klopp cut down a little bit of the Arsenal Wenger situation and go back to what he did to Sissoko, he will fix this. I don't think this is a big problem where everybody, yes, I was frustrated the first 2 games, but right now I'm more of a positive vibe out there, because people who, last year I remember there was a man who they were asked, who's going to win the league? He said Man City. Man City win the league, and he gets mad at Liverpool for not winning the league. I'm like, bro, you put it out there, so why are you upset? Next time say Liverpool, and it'll happen. So I think LFC fans, please, let's get positive. We know what's going on. The man gave us a EPL, gave us a Champions League. I mean, I could list him. I'm not bragging, Bilal, but it's just a fact. But we need to get behind him. The man has recognize his mistakes. Let's watch if he's going to change it. Now, if he doesn't change it, in February, I'm raising hell.
No, I think
you make good points. Sorry, yeah, no, I was just saying you make good points, especially the compactness stuff and maybe dropping the line deeper, being more tight. I think Robertson was saying it as well in one of the interviews after Napoli game, Van Dijk. You guys need to try and tighten it up. Try and get everyone working together. Liverpool at their best for me is when they're playing a narrow system. It's hard to get inside them. It's hard to, break them apart. And then you have them fullbacks now bombing up and down, and they're causing havoc because they've got the space. So that's what Liverpool need to get back to doing. They've been messing around with a lot of things going on, maybe because of the personnel, and they're trying to protect one player, but then it ends up all just being like a Jenga puzzle that just collapses. But yeah, Grizz, take it away.
No, I've had these conversations all week, man. Like Azim says, man, family man, you look tired. Get some rest, bro. It's true. I need to get some rest. Yeah, look, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. We are faced with what we are. We've got what we've got. Transfer window is now closed. The damage has been done. I believe there has been damage being done. The lack of refreshment in the midfield. I've been saying it. You can't preach to a person that's already preaching that same message. You can't. What's the word? There's a saying. There's a saying, man. You know when you can't. You know when you're telling someone that already believes in that. Preach to their thing. Someone's going to say, "No, man, no. You can't." Someone's going to tell me in the chat.
We need your help.
Yeah. It's tired. I'm tired. Long week. One more day. You know, it's like you preach to the already preach.
Preach to the choir.
No, man. No, preaching to the choir. Maybe that makes sense.
It's like catchphrase at this point. Might as well just
come on, man. It's a famous man. You can't.
You can't change the spots. Or...
No. Preach to the converted. You can't something to the preach to the converted. That's getting closer. There's one phrase I'm exactly looking for. Chat. Come on, man. Show me.
You know what's funny? I know you're gonna remember this after.
I know. Preach to the. Or it's not. It might not even be preach.
Preach to the converted.
Anyway, we get the gist of it. So yeah, look. What can we do now? What are we supposed to do now? What do people want to do? What, you want to call for heads? You want
bring Tyler Morton? Where is he?
You want to call for heads? And I mean, it is what it is. Call for heads. We're in a tricky situation, but no amount of shouting then, and no amount of shouting now, or no amount of quietness then, and no amount of quietness now has any effect on what's happened.
True.
So the people that are bragging, so for example, lots of top reds gone quiet over the past month and lots of channels pretending it's a shock to the system despite knowing all summer long we needed reinforcements. What difference does that make to Liverpool Football Club and the situation? If your ego's boosted by you saw this coming, then carry on enjoying your ego. If you think any amount of shouting from so-called channels or whatever would have made any difference to the current predicament of your football club, then that's up to you. Preach to the converted. Hold on, man. No, man. What's the word, man? I don't even know people. I don't even know what people say. But look, I've said it. We needed a midfielder. We didn't get a midfielder.
But Grizz, can I jump onto the statement that you made about the top red thing? Those are the same people who were also mad at FSG because they do sell to buy. Some of them were like, why are we selling our favorite players? Let's all of them retire. Okay, so I don't get it. When we were trying to make changes, you guys were upset. Why are we selling to buy? Why are we selling to buy? But now you want to sell to buy. So what is it? You know, at the end of the day, it's the betterment of the club. That's all.
You can't preach to the converted. I think that is what it is. I'm just too tired to remember. But the gist of the situation is now, Quasi, to your points and your question or whatever you said, is we are where we are. And I agree with you. Jurgen Klopp has to change things. He can't change it in the transfer market, but he can most certainly change it in the way we play, formation, selection-wise. These are the things that he can actually physically do now. And we want him to actually physically do them. If he still plays the same players in the same positions without any accountability, whilst having options, because you've got to remember, right now he hasn't got many options. But once he has the options and we see no change in philosophy, whether it's small details or major details, something different that enables us to become very difficult to play against, then I agree with you. Then there needs to be a different noise emanating from fans or groups or channels or whatever. Until then, I'm very angry, frustrated, sad, pissed off, tired. But that's the state of that's just me. Each to their own. Each to their own. Like Bilal, you've been through this situation with Arsenal. I don't know what people sometimes demand of you to change their opinion to make sure it's in line with theirs. Why are you trying to do that? That's up to you,
You
innit?
guys are just stressing yourself because at the end of the day, the club don't even listen, man. If we're keeping it real, these clubs don't even listen. They have their own procedures, their own set ways. Unless it gets really bad, the situation, and it's 100% clear that this is not going to work for Liverpool this season. Nothing's going to change. But it's too early, man. And already We're having a break here. We're going to have a break later on. It's just a weird season at the end of the day. I think everything's just weird at this point, and we're just going to see how the cookie crumbles at the end of the day.
Quasi, I've got 10 minutes left, and I still got a couple of people that I want to bring on, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
All right.
it.
Nice one. Thank you very much for coming on, my
you.
brother, as usual. Look
Yes.
after yourself. You
Yes,
keep
sir.
safe.
All right.
Take care, bro.
Michael is in the building. Michael, welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you? You're on mute, man.
Mute.
All right. Say something.
Mic settings. Is it better now?
Yep,
Yeah.
you're free now. You're free now.
My mic.
What's going on?
From like good. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, doing good. I think
I'm doing okay.
Riz is kind of depressed now because the Liverpool talk has been
Yeah, it is
up
what it
and
is,
down.
isn't it? It is what it is.
I'm not gonna
man.
talk about Liverpool. I'm not gonna talk about Liverpool.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother.
I already slaughtered you guys on Thursday on the Young Bucks show, so it's all good.
Okay, okay.
I got my Liverpool signed out the way for the week, but
Nice. Keep it moving.
yeah, it's been obviously no Premier League. I've been like obviously I watch other football because keep my stocks like see what's going on. Beach Ball was at 9 a.m. Had to watch that. Obviously, he known a couple players.
Who? Oh,
Micha.
that guy.
Yeah, I can't pronounce his name.
Kvaratskhelia.
I can't. I have
think
a
I'm
long
learning
last
it.
name, but yeah, his is somehow more complicated than mine. So yeah. So
What's yours?
Grigoropoulos, long ass Greek last name.
Okay, nice. I
Yeah.
like that. Type it out in the chat if you're able to, man. I'd like that. I'd like to see how you spell that, man. I like that because I like to pronounce it and see if it's pronounced how it's spelled. I like to know the different accents.
Yeah,
and
the Greek ones. Listen, once you get the hang of it, I remember Socrates, was it Papastathopoulos? I was there.
Papadopoulos, my
I was
guy.
there for him. Yeah, I was there
Arsenal
for that
ruined
game.
him though a little bit.
Greg
It's okay.
Europoulos. Yeah, I can say that. I
To be
think-
fair, I liked him, but he was kind of finished by it. When he played.
Which one?
Mavropanos, Socrates, Papastatopoulos.
Mavropanos was brought in today for Stuttgart.
Yeah, he was all right,
Got
you
an
know.
got an assist against Bayern. I watched that game too because I had to keep my eye on him too. And then De Ligt was like horrible in that game. Conceded the pen. De Ligt, Upamecano backline is
That's the funniest centre back
something
pairing
special.
that
That's
year.
all. It's something special. That's all I'm gonna say. Barca's coming on Tuesday. They're playing, I think. So that's gonna be a funny game.
Barca looking good, man. Their squad is mad now. Like even De Jong, Gavi getting in the
Scored
box
today.
today,
God
looking
damn
good.
it.
Dembele's goal.
That
They're
guy's
looking
special.
good. They're looking good. I mean, I don't know what levels are we looking. What levels are we talking now? I don't want to turn it into the Eurostar show because we got one heavy one lined up this week because we couldn't last week, but we got nothing to talk about apart from Champions League this week. So we got a heavy one lined up. But how good? When you say they're looking good, are they looking frighteningly good? Are you saying? I don't know. Tell me what you guys saying.
I think they have the best
yeah.
attack. I think they have the best attack in the world, other than Man City, because they have a robot up top. But because I'm gonna do a channel.
PSG.
I was gonna say
I forgot
PSG.
about PSG. Okay, so top three. They're top three. But I think with Barca, I think they have a more structured defense, maybe in the midfield. PSG have egos right now. I feel with Barca, you don't have egos. Ousmane Dembele is arguably, in my opinion, the best winger in the world right now. Him and Vinny. But
Well,
no
ahead
matter
of your boy. See, I'm gonna keep coming back with you. You're flip flopping here. Ahead of
Who's
your
my Vicha's a baller. That's a young superstar. But Dembele and Vinicius are levels right now. Dembele's. I tweeted this earlier. Top 3 winger talents I've seen in the last decade. Dembele is number 3. It's Neymar, Hazard, and Dembele in terms of winger talents in the last decade.
I love Dembele.
He's special. Like today, he just went right, left, right. Like it's like it's special talent. So
Vinny's
like
different.
football.
Vinny, you go.
I was to say, it felt like football was in a bit of a transition for the last few years in terms of the talent. Messi, Ronaldo era's dying. What's actually going to happen? Who's the stars? But now we're getting all these like young ballers just coming up at the same time. Wingers as well, like beating, like they can change games by themselves. That's what you want to see.
Guys, did you see this guy play today?
I already
I
said
don't know
it.
if that goal he scored, he picks it up, right? And they've just equalized, so they want to defend, make sure nothing happens now, right? I'm talking about Stuttgart. So when you score against Bayern, you just equalize, you focus, everyone goes, come on, let's focus. Make sure we pack out. So he receives the ball from...
It's like edge of the box, kind of.
Yeah. Mazzari, the fullback. So he cuts it across to him on the edge of the box. And, he just body swerves. Do you remember like Zidane when he scored that famous goal with a body swerve and smashes it with his left foot? Yeah. It's not like that, but the body swerves like that to beat the man. So the finish is different because he just curls it in with his left foot, wrong foot. But all of it is so smooth and beautiful and textbook, and you think, oh, sublime. I tweeted straight away, sublime.
There's a reason why they call him Bambi. They call him Bambi over in Germany. Like my boy's a Bayern Munich fan. There's a reason because he's like his agility and balance, like low center of gravity, is like just special. And how England let him get away to Germany.
Oh shit, he came from Chelsea.
Yeah, he's German though, man. His mum's German.
I think I Mason Mount.
He's German, man.
No, I'm big on Mason Mount. No. You know Mason Mount? Mason Mount's Mason Mount's a
for Klopp, you know what? Mount would cook.
Mount's gonna cook for Potter. Mount's a baller. Trust me. We can come back to this. We can come back to this. No, Musiala's
number one.
I'm gonna say it.
Than Foden and all of these man.
But you don't dismiss Foden like that.
Musiala's better than him. There was this
don't
thing
dismiss
someone
Foden
posted.
like
There was this thing someone posted like, who would you sell, bench or keep? It was like Musiala, Camavinga, or Bellingham, and I said I'm keeping my guy Musiala. He's starting for me. I'm benching Camavinga and Bellingham. I'm sorry, my bro, you're gonna have to be sold. This is how much I rate this Musiala, man. This guy is it's too good. Too good.
Musiala, Camavinga, but the different players in it. That's what.
Yeah, they are different players.
Yeah.
You get me? Like Camavinga is your ultimate box to box right now. You know, stroke possibly DM, but can play box to box equally as good as 8 as well. Bellingham, we don't.
That's how mad it is.
Bellingham, we don't know right now. Actually, Bellingham's an interesting one. Musiala, you know, he's an 8/10 stroke floater, stroke attacker. Everywhere across the front line, possibly. Bellingham's the one that Liverpool fans will want to know what is, because I've told you guys, Bellingham is Liverpool.
He's an 8
player. He's a Liverpool player next season.
He's at third
center. You're telling me Liverpool are going to spend that kind of money just to get Bellingham?
You're the first one that's going to tweet. You're the first one that's going to tweet me and say, you know what, you told me.
I can't chat. I close spent the same amount of money on Pogba. And Pogba's,
you're going to be the first one.
I can't really chat.
My brother BILAL, you're going to be you're going to message me in WhatsApp. You're going to say, you know what? Yeah, I doubted you again. And on Twitter, I'm going to make sure you shout me. You're going to shout me out.
I will.
You're going to say, boss? Yeah, boss. but I don't know what kind of player he is, though.
That's the thing. Is
I don't know what his best role is.
He's 19. No, we won't know for like a couple more years, to be honest.
True fact.
But since I was talking about wingers, I'm gonna get to my point because I'm gonna clever this. I watch all these wingers ball, and I had to watch Jadon Sancho on Thursday, and this guy is pissing me off. It was actually Young Bucks. I couldn't get my frustration out of Jadon Sancho. I would have done it during the episode. But this guy,
I forgot to ask,
bro. This guy is a winger. Disgust me. I'm gonna use that strong of a word because I grew up on wingers that like are direct, like Ousmane Dembele, Vinicius. They just go at there. And while Jadon Sancho was dribbling into traffic like he's driving on the beach in Brooklyn, New York. That's what I felt like with him. It's just like we paid 70 mil for him. We're paying him 350K a week. He's in the top 5 highest paid players in the Premier League. We gave him that kind of dough. I expect him to produce. He's the one that was the golden boy. He's the one that was getting world-class shots at Borussia Dortmund. And he's him and Kai Havertz right now, and obviously Timo Werner might be the golden standard for that Bundesliga tax. They're like the definition of it right now. And Sancho, he's on my fraud list right now. He's got to step it up.
Listen, at least the Saka Sancho debates are over. I don't know how it's even a discussion.
I ain't letting
No. It's not even in the same league or planet. I don't know Sancho and man. If he can't succeed under Ten Hag, then he's never going to succeed. And the problem is now with Man United, the fact that Antony signed as well, having Antony and Sancho at the same time might not be the best way going forward. You know what I mean? You might need a more explosive player like Rashford on the left. And then if Martial's ever fit, you get him in the 9. That's probably the best front three if everyone's fit. So yeah, I don't know. With Sancho, if he went to Man City, maybe they would have hit his flaws a little bit more. But even now, Grealish himself isn't pulling up trees that much. But I feel like if Grealish, I don't know. Someone made a point about if Grealish was at Man United, that would have been good because he's that kind of guy, can carry the ball, win fouls, not afraid to really get stuck in. But Sancho is passive a lot of the time. But he's got qualities.
Yeah, of course. That's what frustrates me. That's what frustrates me. Like when you know someone's really good, but then they don't show it. That's the most frustrating thing ever.
Oh shit! Look at this shout! Look at this shout!
Jermaine Pennant, man. Jermaine Pennant was the guy who was hungover, finished at 6 a.m. Gets a text by Wenger, says, "Listen, you're playing tomorrow." Slaps a hat trick. So listen, you got to respect that. I don't think Sancho could do that. Sancho tried that.
He came out weird. Jermaine Pennant came at a weird time at Liverpool as well. He was under Rafa, who was not very adventurous and not big on attacks, whatever. But he's still done bits and bobs for Liverpool as well, man. Like that partnership with him crossing to Crouch. We had Ryan Babel on the other side and Dirk Coit and them, man. I don't know, man. Pennant was a bit weird for Liverpool as well. It was like wrong time.
Yeah.
Time kind of thing.
Just a weird footballer in general.
Yeah, weird career, innit?
Weird. Because the talent was there, but it's just like...
Look, Sancho... I'm as confused as you, Michael. You watch him week in, week out. I spotted him. Liverpool spotted him. I think he would have been better at Liverpool. I'm just going to put it.
I don't think he would because his intensity.
Sancho would have died. It would have been even worse at Liverpool.
His intensity levels are shot. Like at Klopp, like one thing, like Klopp, you need to have high intensity no matter what. Sancho off the ball is horrendous for me. Abysmal. Like if he's not on the ball, he looks like he's hiding on the pitch. It's like I'm seeing Casper the Ghost out there.
He might need to just go to Spain or
yeah, like I think a Real Madrid. I think a Barcelona, Real Madrid, maybe like. That's where his. He's
not good enough for them kind of teams, man. He's not good enough for Barca or Real Madrid. He's not good enough for that. But like,
maybe Serie A, maybe like a Milan. Like I think he could on Milan.
Yeah, like a Milan.
Are we saying that Man City were first right to sell him to Dortmund, and then are we saying at Dortmund it was Bundesliga tax, and are we saying now that he's back at United, this is the reason why Man City got rid of him, and it was the Bundesliga tax, and we got hype over him, and he's really just a good player. That's it. Is that what we're saying?
I think Dortmund gave him every single thing
for
him to succeed. Like they gave him the overlapping fullback in the Hakimi. They gave him everything.
Yeah, but give him time. Maybe Ten Hag is the coach now to do that shit.
I think for at Dortmund that works for you to have every single piece that surrounds you and you're the main player. But I don't think he's good enough to be that at Man United. That's the thing. I don't think he's good enough to be that main guy at United, and that's what people expected him to be. That's what Ole paid all that money for because Man United miscouted him, which is another miscout for like the last decade. Pogba, Sancho misprofiles, and I think that's what happened with Sancho.
I don't think he's right.
It's Grizz cutting up for you guys.
Yeah,
you're cutting up, bro.
Is it me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I back?
Yeah. I think you're back. Yeah, I think he'll probably come back in a second. But yeah, on Sancho, you're right. I think Dortmund, he was shielded by the likes of Hakimi, man, coming on the overlap all the time. Hakimi,
he just had that beast.
Yeah, Haaland. So he's always he's always got that. He can cut inside or find the half spaces and then get that ball or through ball to a Haaland or to a Hakimi or to a Marco Reus even. So yeah, and the Bundesliga. If you're watching it, it's so open at times. That's why you can find these spaces. When you're playing for Man United, a lot of the time the games are not open, and that's when he's struggling now. He's got to find even tighter spaces, and even before, can't really beat a man 9 out of 10 times. I've not really seen him beat a man, to be honest. I can't really remember off the top of my head. Is he beat a beautiful? Yeah, he might do a little something, but yeah, I don't know. With Sancho, I don't know, man. You're going to have to give him this season. If it doesn't work out, even the resale value, his wages, I think no one can afford them wages that Man United have given him. They're giving him superstar wages. They're giving him...
This is why we pulled out. We actually agreed the fee with Dortmund. Everything was calm until you guys came in with 250 grand wages, which was 150 more than what we were prepared to offer him, because that's how we operate. We operate at low wages to start, prove yourself, and then we'll big you up. And Man United done totally opposite. Said, here's 250k, bang, bang, bang. Look what he's done. He's done fuck all. See, so Liverpool operated in that way. That's how we done it. We offered him the same wage that we offered Nunes, all his mans, 100 grand to start off with. Bang. That's your rage. And when you operate, Jota as well, Diaz as well. all these new operators. Yeah, you see the vision that we have. Mane and Salah were the same. Bobby was the same, and then we increased their wages until now. Only now Salah is getting what Sancho is getting.
Sancho's getting.
Does that make sense?
How mad that is?
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
you understand. But it is what it is, man. Listen, guys, we're gonna wrap it up, man. Sancho chat to end the show was a bit wild, you know what I mean? Still, but I think just very quickly, I think Sancho has got good attributes. I'm not going to suddenly shit on him because I liked him, but I don't think he's got anything X factor in his game. Like he hasn't got outstanding pace, he hasn't got outstanding shooting ability, he hasn't got outstanding strength. He's got like 7/8 out of 10 in a few things, like his dribbling is class, his control is class, you know, his vision, his touch is class. But I don't know, man. Hope he.
You know where he'd cook? You know where he'd cook? He'd cook under Potter at Chelsea. I could see that working. If that ever is an opportunity.
Hey, Todd Bowley, man. All I'm saying, bro, if you got 70 mil to spend, you could come calling. I'll take that. And I'll go buy Vicha right now.
Right, I don't know how much that guy's going to cost, man. By the end of this season, we're going to start saying 150 million or something.
Napoli are strong like that in the market, and they're wild.
Their owner is so stubborn. Oh my god.
Very last question. Hustler wants to ask. Question off topic. But what do you think of Brazil not including all three Gabriels in the Brazil squad and got Super Richie instead of Jesus? Just knows Tito knows Arsenal won't last long. Bilal, that's for you before we could end it.
We already answered this question. Listen, Tito already said yesterday Gabriel Jesus is in his squad for the World Cup. He's going to be selected. He's just looking at other options. There's 26-man squad. In Brazil, they're saying Gabriel Magalhaes is a fourth choice centre-back for Brazil, but they want to look at Bremer and Ibanez because they might not even have two right-backs to take to the World Cup because of the Dani Alves. They might call him up Danilo. Like it's a bit mad for the right-back situation, so they might have to call up 5 centre-backs. But the only Arsenal player in terms of the Brazilians who probably won't go or might not go is probably Gabriel Martinelli. That's probably up in the air between him and Rodrigo. Who's going to be that last guy? Because it looks like Anthony's going to be going, from what everyone's been telling me, and the big club, big transfer politics. So you can see Anthony going, and yeah. Apart from that, that's Brazil. But Brazil, they should win the World Cup. That depth is stupid. I've never seen such attacking players. It's too many people. But yeah, I can't wait for the World Cup, and I can't wait to see Brazil in action, even international.
It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting because a lot of teams are getting better and better. And a lot of teams have got a lot of talent, man. It's going to be interesting still. It always is, man. It always is. You know, we think about it, World Cup, it's going to interrupt this, but by the time World Cup comes around, we're all hyped and we're all excited. People were about 3 short for 250 likes, which is quite good going compared to like what we had. We had 250, 60 watching concurrent. So that's amazing ratio. Let's just get over the finishing line. 250 likes while we're on live. Hope you guys have enjoyed the call-in show. Michael, thanks very much. You're back on what day?
Actually, I won't be on. I'm going on holiday Tuesday.
Oh, yeah,
when you reach for a couple weeks.
Okay, working on your tan, yeah? Is that you? Okay, go and work.
I'm gonna go watch Marcelo too. Marcelo just signed for my Greek club, so I'm gonna go watch.
Oh shit! Okay, what a story that is! Madness. Yeah. Okay, well we'll find another young buck. Bilal, get on the hunt, man. We'll find someone else to rep United for this week, man. This is, you know, I mean, there's not many weeks you're going to be able to rep Man United with a smile on your face because I think you're going to come back down to earth. But still, people, this has been the call-in show, your number one call-in show on a Saturday evening, afternoon, morning, depending on where you're watching this from. We out of here. Take care, people. Peace.